Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the O&G StrikeZone. Sorry we're a bit late. I'll take the blame on this one. Although Kelvin, I almost was able to throw it on him, but I'll take the hit on this one tonight.
No, we're a team, brother.
We'll share it. We'll share it.
We'll share it.
All right. I appreciate
even
that.
though it wasn't me.
Even though it wasn't you. There you go. See? All right. Well, hey, appreciate everybody for hanging tight with us as we're trying to get things up and going. You know, we got a busy show tonight. It never is this. Look, just like athletic departments are having a busy season with winter sports and then the start of spring sports, we got a busy show as well, as we got a lot of things happening around us regarding FAMU athletics, so on and so forth. Coming up on tonight's show at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Coach Brittany Beall as the FAMU softball season is, let me see, do the math here. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, 2 days. 2 days away from beginning. They're going to be up in Macon, Georgia. So calling all my middle Georgia Rattlers to make sure you get over to Macon, Georgia, over there on the campus of Mercer University, and support our softball team. So we'll kind of get a preseason preview, or actually that's a season preview, I'm sorry, from Coach Beall. So it'll be a good chance to talk to her again. Then coming up in hour two, we're going to talk to Kelvin Dean. I guess we could say former FAMU football player and a hopeful in a future NFL Rattler. We're hoping that we can add him to the list of football NFL Rattlers. We're going to talk about find out what's going on with him and how the process is going and how FAMU, how Rattler Nation can help him out in his journey to get into the NFL. So we'll kind of find out about that process for him. Speaking of football, it's National Signing Day. So we've got the latest information regarding this. Is it the second class? We can say the second class for Coach Colzie, isn't it? Or isn't that how we're doing it?
Yeah,
second
officially
class.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Officially the second class for Coach Colzie. We'll talk to him. Our good friend of the program, Keith Hadley, Fangs Up Podcast, will be joining the show, and he'll join us to kind of go through the commits as well as the names that we know for certain are a part of the 2025 class. My God, we got all kinds of other stuff to talk about. We've got basketball. We'll talk about the basketball home split, and then they're about to take the Texas two-step coming up starting tomorrow into the weekend. So we'll talk about FAMU men and women's basketball, FAMU track out there setting records, indoor records left and right. I'm feeling I don't know if the word overly optimistic or just optimistic. I don't know which one, but you got to feel good about what Coach G and our men and women track teams are doing. I got a good feeling about what they're gonna do when they get to Birmingham in a couple of weeks. But they've got one more meet in between, so we'll kind of recap their most recent outing in South Carolina. Oh, God, what else, Kelvin? I mentioned softball starting. I mean, we got all kinds of news and stuff happening. We still got schedule reaction. Football schedule reaction. And I want to commend, first off, before we get going too far down the road, Kelvin, I want to commend not only you and Marcus, but also our friends over at Fang Exchange, Ashley and Tashay and Keith, Fangs Up Podcast, Gerald. I mean, if you didn't catch the reaction, the FAMU football schedule show that you guys did Saturday morning, you are missing out. I mean, I don't go to listen to other places, but you show me another group of individuals who break down the 2025 schedule for 2 hours the way you guys did. I loved it. It warmed my heart, and I was so upset that I couldn't be there to join y'all to make it a 3-hour show. But I love what y'all did. I love everything. There were so many great one-liners that I couldn't even write them down. I mean, Tashay dropped some. She dropped some great one-liners. Keith had some great liners. You know, I just really enjoyed the hell out of that show. And I tried to retweet it from our page, but if you haven't seen it, I know you can find it on the Fang Exchange YouTube page. I know you can probably find it on Keith's Fangs Up podcast. And if you go check our Twitter handle, I'm sure you can find it there as well. So good stuff. So with
let me just say real quick, Brian, I totally enjoyed that. And I hope we are setting the tone and tenor for Rattler Nation of how family should do. We worked together, came together in the love of Mother FAMU. And, we gave, our opinions as well as just information about the schedule release. And it was great, man. And yes, we will be doing similar things moving forward.
Yeah, I love it was a great balance. I mean, because you guys did a great job of not only balancing what's going on in Tallahassee at the same time. You talked about the different angles from the traveling, just some of the games to look out for. As you got towards the end of the show and Keith asked the questions, I was sitting there in my head. I was like, yeah, let me see. What are my favorite games? Let me see my top 3 games. And, besides homecoming and let me see, what was another question you asked about the unexpected or the least underrated game or something or the underrated game, something to that effect. And I mean, I'm just totally, it was such a great show. You guys did a great job, and that's what teamwork. And as you said, when you're all about FAMU, good things can come from that. So I would say if you haven't seen it, go look at it. If you maybe watched the first hour, the 2 hours go by. It is a good watch or good listen. Just put it on and rewind. There's all kinds of good stuff in it, and then share it. The most important thing is we have to share it with our community and the FAMULY because that was some good stuff. Speaking of the schedule, I also gotta, obviously last week's show we had on AD Suggs. She was we knew the schedule was going to drop the next night. And one of the things that I know Marcus has always been pushing for was the video of the schedule release. How long has he been talking about that, Kelvin? For at least about 2 years now?
I mean, he actually started that years ago, but yes.
Yeah, yes. He's been at least at minimum 2 years. So, but I know it had to warm his heart, and I think he even mentioned it, how excited and happy he was to see FAMU Athletics do a video release of the schedule instead of just dropping the schedule or something like that. I don't know if a lot of other HBCU schools did similar to what we did. But
it did appear that it did appear that way since we dropped ours first.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take credit for a lot of things, but I don't know. But it was cool to see, and so I know. Congratulations again to AD Suggs FAMU Athletics for putting that together. So good stuff. Awesome stuff. Okay. You want to do? I know we're getting long in the tooth here, a little late on the start. You want to get a quick shout out, or do we try to go into a little basketball talk, or go through the shout outs and then just kind of catch basketball on the other side later? What's your thoughts?
Let's do the shout out since we missed it last time. I know we got some faithful followers, and then I just want to make sure that we give them a little shine.
All right, I'm all for that. Just want to encourage everybody while you're watching the stream, however you're watching us. Yep, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button if you're watching on our YouTube channels, my JBN Online or at O&G StrikeZone. If you're one of the folks watching on X or Instagram Live, come on over and be a part of the chat conversations. Always something good and interesting from not just the FAMULY, but all of our other HBCU friends that tune in as well. Of course, this show is part of the Black College Sports Network. And so, you know, while it is by FAMUans, for FAMU, we always get our friends from the SWAC and the HBCU diaspora that choose to come on in and find out what's going on the highest of Seven Hills. So with that said, let me say hello first to Jimmy Mack. Thank you for being a JBN subscriber, Jimmy. Appreciate you checking in on me as well. I appreciate that, Jimmy. It means a lot, man. Because this today is probably the best I felt in terms of my head congestion over the last 48 hours. Between my head and throat, it was a mess, man. I was worried I wasn't even able to do this show tonight.
Where it is, you know, there's something going around and it's being kept quiet. But so yeah, make sure you know Rally Nation, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking medicines before you need it, you know, your vitamins, and make sure you got your flu shots and all that good stuff, because we're gonna need it.
Something's floating around out there. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to you, Bull. Good to see you, Bull. Thanks for checking in.
What's up, Bull?
Yep, Alice, Ken.
What's
Appreciate
up,
you coming
Ken?
in.
Alex.
Meredith, good to see you,
What
Meredith.
up, Meredith?
Thanks for being a JBN subscriber as well. Ezekiel Love.
What's up, Zeke?
Thanks for checking in. Yeah, how was Colzie on the 220 Club? I didn't get a chance to catch it. Busy day at school.
Me too at work, so I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Marvin Allen, good to see you, Marvin. Thanks for checking in.
Duval.
Little baby, good to see you.
What's up, PC?
Good to see you. Marcus, JY, Marcus.
What's up,
Macon, Georgia. Thanks for being a JBN subscriber. Marcus said he's got the softball hold. He's holding it down, so I know he and the Middle Georgia Rattlers will be in the house supporting on the softball team. Mary 305 checking in
from Auntie,
the south side of the state. Good to see you. Iria Young checking in. I know she's ready for softball.
Absolutely. Hey, Iria.
Former softball alum, softball great, checking in from the Carolinas. She's ready for the softball season. Ashton Harris. Good to see you, Ashton.
What's up, Picola?
Thanks for checking in. Melissa Wilson.
Duh.
Checking in. Good to see you, Melissa. Good to see you. Hello. Checking in. Good to see you. Royal Miriam, thank you for coming in. Royal? Good to see you. Tamara T.
What's up, Tamara T?
Checking in from Tallahassee. Good to see you. Thanks for being a JBN subscriber. Our good friend Chuck Hunt.
Nashville, Tennessee,
and somewhere down there as well, a little further south in Monroe, Louisiana.
He's still Monroe, Louisiana. Okay, I got you. What's up, Chuck?
To the day he died, I got a feeling Chuck will hold it down for Monroe, Louisiana. Good to see you. Watch JD TV checking in. Good to see you.
What's going on, JD?
James Austin. Good to see you.
What's up, Austin?
Oh, see. I'm going to just say hello to you, EA. See?
Hi.
First comment coming in. Ridiculous. I was gonna say something else, but I'm not, because I don't want to feed EA, because see,
you know he'll keep coming.
Yeah, he'll keep going. If I feed him, he'll keep going. Good to see you, Johnny Thornton. Thanks for being a JBN subscriber. Johnny, looking forward to coming down to Tallahassee for the first time in a long time when his North Carolina Central Eagles come down on October 11th. Looking forward to it. Make sure you bring that quarterback too, Johnny. You promised me that quarterback, Walker Harris, is going to come down. So he's going to be looking to light us up. But we might have something for him. Good to have you. Theron, HBCU Band Talk coming in. Good to see you.
What's up, Band Talk?
Thanks for coming in. Mr. Campbell checking in.
What's up, Mr. Campbell?
I agree. The schedule is tough. It is set up for a Celebration Bowl run. It'll be interesting. I haven't looked at other folks. I haven't had a chance to break down other folks' schedule yet, but we'll see. Johnny's already dropping some hints about the future, huh? Interesting. Okay. The question is, are y'all gonna be ready, Johnny? That's all I'm trying to figure out. Are y'all gonna be ready?
Well, all I know is we have 90 lettermen or players in spring ball. We got what, 8 on defense returning, 7 on offense, or vice versa, something like that. So we're gonna be a very experienced team that has played together going into the fall. So I'm very, very optimistic at this point. Just got to get our trigger man right.
Already. Boy, I tell you. Carrie Daniels, thanks for checking in. Hello to you, Carrie.
What's up, Carrie?
Duval checking in. Sam Dixie. Sam,
what's up, Sam?
Thanks for being a JBN subscriber.
Kaya Coochie.
Appreciate you. Band Talk, always checking in. Thank you, man. Thank you for the donation. Those of you all can support. Drop a super chat if you like. If you're watching us on JBN Online, you can always support the show by dropping a super chat. You can always join the YouTube page, support the Black College Sports Network, or you can hit that Cash App right there, support the show directly. See, I had to put that up there just because I started coughing. That was for you, EA, only because you made me cough and laugh on that one. Oh, you a fool. Little Baby said Colzie was good. Answered a lot of good questions. All right. Good stuff. One of the noticeable things that we haven't seen today, National Signing Day, you haven't seen a lot of graphics today, folks, have you? One of the, hey, we'll call it like it is. One of the misses when you lose a savant, a digital strategist, a guy like Josh Padilla. Some things don't always happen the way they used to.
Well, the reality is, we in transition. Those positions aren't filled, so Yeah.
And I will say, while that was missing, I did love the graphics today by FAMU Athletics, recognizing all of the great women that are a part of FAMU Athletics, from the interns and students, the staff, the coaches, the administrators, National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Chef's kiss by FAMU Athletics for making sure that those images and that information, that graphic about all of the great women who are a part of FAMU Athletics was visible. So I will give a shout out to FAMU Athletics and whoever's handling social media these days, but great job. Let's see. Cusanova says things get a little more difficult for the Rattlers after JSU sing.
Whatever. Yeah. Keep it moving.
Okay. Good friend Charles Bishop. Speaking of JSU, good to see you.
What's up, Charles?
Thanks for coming in. I cannot confirm or deny that Chuck will be on the show prior to the November 1st show when we play Jackson State.
I can confirm. I'm making an executive lateral decision, and Charles has already been notified that his services will not be needed Jackson State week. You can watch him on his show.
Right, of course. Charles Bishop, one of the co-hosts of Dr. Graville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab every Tuesday and Thursday, right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Bad luck.
And he does a lot of broadcasting too. So if you're watching basketball games on the SWAC Digital Network, you'll probably hear him doing a great job for the SWAC Digital Network as well. Gerald Thomas says the signing day madness is finally over. All right. Okay. Sounds good. Alice McCullough checking in from the 561. Palm Beach.
Alice?
Good stuff. All right. Let me go ahead and close our shout outs and get ready to take our first break, a short break, because coming up on the other side, we're going to get into talking about the start of the 2025 softball season and the debut season for Coach Beall, Coach Brittany Beall, and our Lady Rattlers will begin this weekend up in Macon, Georgia at the Mercer Bay. Look, I got it written down. I know it's at Mercer. I think it's like the Bears. I have the name officially right when we come back from the break. But excuse me. But let's get ready to talk. Take a break. Load up on some water. Get my voice right because we got Coach Beall coming up. Get your questions in. You guys have questions or anything that you're interested in on the upcoming softball season. We've got the preseason pitcher of the year. So that's a lot to be excited about. And we'll find out about the rest of the roster that's going to get us back to the championship game and bring home a title back to Tallahassee this year. Stay tuned. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Greetings, I'm Kiana Watson.
Hi, I'm Zoriani Hughes.
Greetings, I'm Nia Morgan, and for all things FAMU Athletics, check out the O&G StrikeZone
On Wednesdays at the Black College Sports Network.
Go Rattlers!
All right. Couldn't do anything better but to lead in that segment with the shout out from some of our favorite softball players from the 2024 season. And with that, we say hello and welcome back to the show, Coach Brittany Beall, and the head coach of our softball team. And we are 2 days away from the start of the 2025 season. Coach, are you excited? It's here. It's game week.
I'm excited, really excited. We prepared well, so I'm ready to hit the field.
What has been the early, obviously once you turn the calendar over into 2025, it's go time. What's it like? What's it been like over the past month of preparation for the team and for you?
It's been good. The girls really came back over Christmas break and they were ready to hit the ground running. It was just a very sense of calm, but the expectations were high. and they were very adaptable, and they wanted to make sure that they were doing everything that they needed to do, in the classroom and on the field, in the weight room, to prepare for the season. So, coming at practice, they want to play a game. They're eager, excited. They said, we're done with practice. We just want to play. So when you hear, your student athletes say they want to play, then they're ready.
Mm-hmm. For you, Coach, what is, and I don't know if there's you're a very accomplished coach in the sport of softball, moving from high school to college and taking over a program. What have been some of the challenges for you over the past few months? Things that maybe you've had to get used to, things that you had to do differently. What's the process been like for you in the adjustment period going into your first season?
I think just for me, I am a overthinker, overanalyzer. So I kind of like things a certain way, just on the administrative side of things. And it's nothing, I think, everybody's been super helpful, from, AD Suggs to our SWD, Brittany Johnson, everybody in the admin. They've been super helpful. So just like any other job, just understanding that transition and understanding, how the things work. So I feel like, going into the first game, we were able to break things down of what was needed, what was not needed, so that we can have this week or have these last 2 weeks focusing on just ball work. So I think just the transition, like I said, of just having something new, which is, it's new. But I think just seeing the production on the field, makes all these late days and early mornings all worth it. Because sometimes we put in 12-hour days. And like I told my assistants, it's going to pay off in the end. It's going to be hard in the beginning. We're going to have to grind. We're going to have to sometimes no sleep. But again, it's definitely going to pay off in the end.
Nice. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, I want you to talk about your spring preparation. And my understanding is that you had a orange and green game recently. Yes. And maybe you had a celebrity coach as the umpire. And I want you to talk about Coach Colzie and how his balls in strike and how he I'm joking. I know that he has done that for the NCAA baseball and stuff. But just kind of talk about your preparation and how was Coach behind the plate, if he was behind the plate.
He was okay. No, he was fine. I talked to him today and I said, man, you didn't give me any feedback. So he gave me a little bit of feedback. He's like, I gave one girl a ball when it should have been a strike. And I was like, no, Coach, you gotta be tough because we're going to go into this game. But just seeing him behind the plate and him supporting and, him just saying, hey, anytime you want me to come out, I'll love to give you guys the real game-like situation. So to me, that meant a lot to have that support from somebody from, our coaching staff, to be able to come and, share his expertise in that end. And just to kind of get them to feel like we did the whole jerseys. So everybody had separate jerseys. At first we talked about, we'll just wear a practice jersey. But I was like, no, let them put it on and let them see how it felt or it feels. And so I think having that game, obviously we've been doing, we'll do scrimmages in the middle of practice towards the end. So they've been seeing live pitching since we came back. So at least we do live pitching 3 days out of the week. And I think on Monday for the scrimmage, we went 5.5 innings. So just to be able for them to understand that there are going to be mistakes and we want to talk about those mistakes now. So we have a big thing about, stopping practice and just letting us collaborate and telling them why we're doing something, but also letting them have a little piece in that because they're the one that's playing the game. Of course, we as coaches, we can prepare. We've helped them. We've gave them all the resources that we possibly can. But I feel like for them, sometimes student athletes want to have a voice. And it's good to be able to break plays down. And one day we spent, I think, an hour just breaking down our first and thirds, breaking down pickles, and to see the frustration. It was a little bit of frustration because they wanted to do better. They wanted to know more. And we just kind of say, hey, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in the game. Mistakes are going to happen. But how you respond, That's how we want to make sure that where we compete at, we respond back, whether that be offensively, defensively, and just try to compete every game that we step on the field.
So talk about your upcoming tournament and what you expect and what would you like to see from this team. Have you set your pitching rotations? Are there any limitations? Are you going to experiment? Just kind of talk about how you approach these, your first few games.
So we go to Mercer. The first game we'll play is Austin P. We'll play them Friday about 1:30. Saturday we play St. Joseph's and Mercer, and then we'll come back again and play Austin P on Sunday. So we've been putting our starting nine as defense on the field. And again, I told the girls, we can only play 9 on the field, but at the same time, you be ready because I think we have, a good roster that can be interchanged at any given moment. So that's on the mound, that's behind the plate. I mean, we're very fortunate to have almost 2 in every position. So that's always a plus. And I just said, hey, when your time is called, you be ready. So, looking at our pitching, we have the entire pitching staff coming back. We got, number 1 preseason pitcher of the year, Zoriana Hughes. And then we also have Sam Smith. She was also a preseason SWAC award. We have Lauren. We also have Amari Brown. She is a JUCO transfer from Pola behind the plate. We got catchers. I mean, it's just very nice to see us be able to interchange it. And we do a lot in practice. So we try to put them in those pressure situations so that if they do get called in the game, they know exactly what play that needs to be ran. They know what they need to do for that specific position.
Coach, I'm interested in how your offense, what do you think it's going to look like? What would you like for it to look like? Is it diverse? Is it kind of fabricate runs, or do you have some power? Do you think it's balanced? Talk about that.
I think it's balanced. We got some slappers. We got some runners for sure. I think we'll have about 4. We'll have about 4 lefties in the lineup. 2 is just nothing but drop the ball, put the ball on the ground and run. We got another big time long ball lefty that can stroke the ball. We got a big girl we call her Big Lex. She can hit the shed a few times. So I told her, I said, you should hit over 10 home runs this season easily. So we got a really, really good balance. We've been working a lot on just hitting line drives, just pounding the ball. Because again, quality at bats mean a whole lot. So you can go up there and you can foul off 6 balls. You can force some, 4 strikes, foul balls, just have quality at bats. So I think just having them understand that their presence in the box is going to matter. Seeing pitches is going to make your pitcher from the opposing team work harder. So I think their mindset is I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get on base and to make sure that I have a quality at bat. So offensively, like I said, I think we're balanced from top to bottom.
Okay. All right.
Coach, let's kind of get into, I want to specifically kind of talk about Zoriana Hughes, who last year as a true freshman was not only the co-freshman of the year, but the pitcher of the year. And so, of course, she comes in with those preseason honors. How has she grown? Because I mean that she didn't buckle at all of the weight of being the number 1 as a true freshman. She led the conference in wins, led the conference in SWAC victories. She went to the mound. She was a warrior out there. How has she grown, and what kind of things have you talked to her about? How can you help her improve? I know there's always an area for improvement. So what's season 2 look like for Zoriana?
Zoe was a fighter. I don't know if you guys have ever met her in person, but she is a spark plug. She's quiet, but then when she gets on the field, she's definitely a fighter. So this year, Zoe's going to have a little different role as well because Zoe can hit. I mean, that girl can hit. She can stroke. So when she's on the mound, she's going to be in the lineup because she is a lefty too. A lot of people don't realize that she's a lefty hitter. She can slap and she can hit the ball. So having her feel, having her contribute to the team offensively, I think is going to help her. And I told her, I said, the moment that it gets a little dicey where you get a little, because that's why pitchers don't hit, because again, it's an emotional transition going from offense to defense. But again, I'm going to give her that opportunity and see how she does. But she's a great girl on and off the field. And she's very, like I said, she's a fighter, definitely a fighter.
And speaking of, and moving over to Samantha Smith, who made second team preseason, but she was a heck of a pitcher herself and a heck of a hitter last year as well. And I mean, you kind of talked about having her or having Zoe kind of doing both. Sam did both last year. Is essentially that our 1-2. I mean, on any given weekend, I'm sure you're thinking we're going into a 4-game series with Zoe and Sam, right? Talk a little bit about Samantha, if you would.
Yeah, she's a different type of beast. She's very hungry for the game. She doesn't play around in practice. She takes practice just as much as she probably would take a game. So having her stick in the lineup and also having her on the mound is huge. Like I said, I think we're very fortunate to have all of our pitchers can hit. All of our pitchers can hit. And I know for sure Amari and Sam will probably play a little bit more infield than probably Lauren and Zoe. But again, like I said, I can put Zoe at second base. We've also had Lauren at second base. So just being able to kind of intertwine them into the lineup if possible. If we need to bring in another DP at the bat, if something's not working, I think that I feel, and our coaching staff feel very confident that they can play. Amari Brown, like I said, she's a JUCO transfer as well. She's a great athlete. She can play second. She can play third. She can play short. So she's going to have a lot of time on the field when she's not pitching, because again, like I said, her stick is also phenomenal. So being able to have all those weapons on offense and then having all those weapons on defense, I think overall, we're going to be very balanced. We're going to have some tough competition in the beginning. Like I said, we play Austin P, then we come back and we'll go to Atlanta to play in the HBCU Classic against, all the MEAC teams. Then we also will come back. We'll play Florida State, Texas A&M, Southeastern Louisiana, and then we'll go to Florida. So looking at the top part of our schedule, we're going to get some competition. I mean, it's going to be real competition. And I told the girls, just like everybody puts their pants on, you go put your pants on the same way. We have a ball, we got a bat, we got a glove, and we're going to work on the things that we need to work on as a team for us to be able to compete. And then after that, we'll come back for the SWAC. So I think the preparation in the beginning of the season is going to do us good in the end.
In terms of senior leadership, because obviously Samantha being a senior, and then you have Brianna Duggins, who first baseman, first team all SWAC. She's also a senior. What type of leadership, and talk a little bit about Brianna, and then maybe the leaders on this team who has sort of stepped up as the ladies to kind of, whether it be by their actions, whether it be their actions or their words, who are some of the leaders on this team?
I think for the team, they all lead in different ways. We also have Kiana Watson, which I don't even know how she didn't make the SWAC preseason team, because she only had one error on the whole entire season last year at second base. So, and to see her play, her glove is just amazing. She's even more better person off the field. She's actually getting a degree in respiratory therapy. So she, like I said, she's smart off the field and also on the field. So she's stepped up big time as a leader. Bree has stepped up as well. Today's her birthday, so shout out to Bree. Happy birthday.
All right. Happy birthday. All right.
But to see her, at first base, very confident. Sam is the same way. Lauren Peppers. And I'm excited to see Lauren Peppers. She came in the fall and she said, Coach, I think this is my year. She said, I'm ready. I'm ready to give it my all for my last year. And then also too, Sam is going to probably come back next year for us. So that would be exciting to have her, with the new class, the lawsuit where you get an extra year. She falls underneath that. Bree as well. But Bree just got found out that she got accepted to grad school at JU for nursing. So we're very excited for her. But those are the only two that kind of fell in that underneath that umbrella. So we're very excited to have Sam back. So it's going to be interesting for sure, because we got a bunch of sophomores, we got some juniors, and we also have some freshmen. These girls are hungry. They're hungry. They don't back down. They want more. So I want to say that in my heart, they're all leaders, but in different aspects of what they lead. We got some leaders that show action on the field. We got some leaders that, off the field. So they're good. They're really good.
Have they taught you to stroll yet, Coach? Have you got the stroll?
They haven't taught me. We did no. So we do something a little different. I like to play music at practice. So we play music at practice. So they dance all practice. And the other day we had a little Soul Train line going on. So everybody got in a little action, but I'm waiting for them they had the cheer Bible out the other day, and AD Suggs met with the girls earlier in the week, and they went through their whole cheer Bible. I felt like we were in the game. I was just, clapping, and, it was fun. So they're excited. They call it, the club, Rattler Club. So they're excited to show off.
No doubt. We've got one of the best dugouts in the SWAC in softball, I believe. One of the best dugouts. It's that if you go, if nothing else, if you go to the games, you're gonna hear some chatter. You're gonna hear some chatter. Good chatter.
Yes.
They say good trouble, good chatter. I got a question from the chat room, and I love this one because it relates to that position behind the plate. And Coach, what your grad assistant, friend of the program, Nia Morgan. I call her the Iron Woman because was it 2 years ago, Kelvin, when she was behind the plate for every pitch? 2 years, I think it's 2 years ago, which was like that's a lot. So, so when I so much love and respect for Nia, but what's the catching position going to be? Be different not having her behind the plate, but what's it looking like this year behind the plate?
So again, we have Lexi. Like I said, she's a JUCO transfer from Chipola. We also have Kayla Alexandri. She is also a senior as well. And we also have Tiana Davis. So we got 3 catchers, and we've been working them. We've been working them. And they have been very receptive to everything. And Nia, I hats off to Nia Morgan, because she has, transitioned into, her coaching realm. And she has been working them and giving constant feedback. Hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to do that. So just having her be a part of this. And then, we got Coach Jess, she's pitching coach. And then we also have Denver Bryan helping us out as well. So just to be able to have that support and that help, when we break off into practice with outfield, and I'm primary with outfielders, Denver's with infielders, Coach Jess is with the pitchers, Nia has the catching. So just to be able to have that 30 minutes of just nothing but just specialized training I think to me has helped us out tremendously, just to have that extra help. So catching, I think we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Just the rotation of those 3, like I said, we're going to be good. So catching will be fine.
All right. What else you got, Kelvin?
Well, the only thing I want to ask, Coach, is do you feel like this team is prepared and ready for the game? Did you have enough time with time is the time, Ashley, but do you think that you got what you want to accomplish preseason?
Yeah, I think most definitely. We've been going over scouting reports all week leading up to this. We had girls come in and watch film. All of our coaches, I feel like I've been, watching film. I feel like a football coach, film. We've been watching film. So I think we're prepared. We're definitely prepared. We went over the hitters. We went over the pitchers. So they feel prepared. And that's something that our pitching coach told them today is like, we want to be able to give you all the resources that we have. So when we leave tomorrow, we're also going to go to Mercer and practice. And then we're going to go back into the hotel room and the conference room And we're just going to make sure that they're prepared. That's my number one thing, is making sure they mentally and physically they're prepared to step on the field.
Okay.
What do you need from Rattler Nation? How can Rattler Nation support the program? Obviously, I know our alumni base up there in Middle Georgia. I know they'll be there. I know they'll be supporting. But what can, as the season gets going, what can Rattler Nation do for you?
Just support us. Be there. Fill the stands up. We're excited about the Texas A&M game. We're actually going to have an operations meeting tomorrow with the admin team just to kind of prepare for that. But we're excited. We just need all the love and support. And the alumni have helped out. Like when we go to Macon, we're going to meet up with the alumni. Same thing in Covington. So we're excited to get on the field, and we just need all the love and support that we possibly can. And just hopefully you guys can come out and see the girls shine on the field.
Good stuff. Good friend of the program, Erie Young, already said the 05 championship team, they're going to be there. They're making plans already, Coach. They're already making plans on being there, golf for it. I love it.
Thank you, Eria.
I love it. All right, so just to let people know the schedule, again, Macon, Georgia, the Mercer Bears Classic begins Friday against Austin Peay. I didn't know it was Austin Peay State University. It's just Austin Peay. I didn't know there was a state university on the end of it, but whatever. That's a 1:30 first pitch at Mercer University. Then the doubleheader is Saturday, and you guys are probably seeing all that on the scroll, those of you who've been paying attention. St. Joe's at 11 a.m., and then Mercer, the host school, at 1:30. Then on Sunday at 1:30, we take on Austin Peay again. Then for you folks in the Atlanta area, Covington, Georgia, which if you're not familiar with Covington, it's like northeast around the what is that big loop there in the Tucson? Is it Tucson? I don't know. It's the big loop around Atlanta, but the northeast corner of Atlanta Metro is where the HBCU Classic tournament will be. And we got a doubleheader on Valentine's Day against the Aggies of North Carolina A&T and Howard University. That should be fun. Yeah. Then on Saturday, a doubleheader against Coppin State and North Carolina Central. And then on Sunday, we close it against Maryland Eastern Shore. So that'll be a fun 5 game. Is it 5? Yeah, 5 game weekend. Yeah, up in the Atlanta area. So I know the Atlanta Rattlers will take care of you all. Yeah. And then the home stand begins Friday, February 21st. Obviously, let me not skip over the Florida State match on Thursday the 20th, taking on Florida State. I'm assuming that's over there.
Yes.
At their ballpark.
Yes.
Right. And then on the 21st, we have a doubleheader against Texas A&M. That's Texas A&M from the SEC right here at Veronica Wiggins Field on campus for a doubleheader Friday, 10 a.m. and then 12:30. I don't know. Have you heard whether the games at Mercer are going to be streamed, Coach?
I have no idea. I definitely can look into that. I think I heard one of the girls say you had to, I don't know if Mercer has their own, TV production, but I'll definitely check that out and hopefully we can post it, get it online and post it out somewhere. But again, they're keeping the live stats. So we'll make sure that gets updated. But whereas one more thing, we're also going to be playing an alumni weekend. We're also meeting with the admin tomorrow. So all our alumni, I know Erie is in here. We are definitely playing in that to have everybody on the, come back. Coach Wiggins came to the scrimmage on Monday. So she got in the circle and gave some words of advice. And then she called me up today and she said, Coach, there's some more things I need to tell you. So just having her around, that brought a lot of warmness to my heart. And so I know that some of the younger girls, they didn't realize, but I mean, you're talking to a legend, someone that started the program, that had been here and that has put in the time. So just seeing her and getting her kind of involved, engaged, that was very nice.
Awesome
Stuff. Well, yeah, definitely, folks. Bull and everyone else out there, if we happen to come across the stream on from the Mercer feed, we'll definitely tweet that out and let you know. But again, definitely can always follow along with the live stats. I'm fingers crossed that Mercer. I know sometimes it's always tricky on the road. Like they may stream their games, but then they won't stream all the other games that are happening on their site. We've seen that in the past, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that that is the case. And once we find out, we'll post that out. So, all right, Coach, you said you guys hit the road tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, we hit the road tomorrow, so we're going to Macon.
All right. Well, safe travels.
Thank you,
the coaching staff, team, and have a great start to the season. We're looking forward to it. Excited for you. Excited for the ladies. Excited for the coaches. It's a fun time of the year, so enjoy it, and we look forward to seeing you guys stack some W's up in the non-conference schedule.
All right. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
All right. Good stuff. Great schedule, Kelvin. What do you think of that schedule? It's a loaded schedule.
I love it. It's true to form to previous schedules in the sense that, it's competitive. They will be challenged early. It has served us well. We've got a lot of championships in softball over the years. So I love that it's regional friendly. So it is, Mercer, Atlanta areas where, Rattlers are and can get to fairly easy. And then, of course, the Florida State tournament returning home. So I think it's just the right cup of tea for, a team. This is an experienced team, new staff, but a pretty experienced team. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited, man.
Just in case you didn't know, or just to kind of put a look at the SWAC schedule, unlike baseball, where this is the first year where baseball in the SWAC went to an open format, meaning everybody will play 10 of the 11 SWAC opponents. Softball is still holding on to the old traditional divisions. So we only play our 5 division opponents, home and away in a series of 3-game, mostly 3-game series. So, it'll be interesting to see if eventually softball will move to doing what baseball did, which is giving you an opportunity to play everybody at least once. But we'll see. So, the only time we'll see, actually, we don't see anybody from the Western Division at all, not even up at that HBCU Classic. So it'll be mostly Eastern Conference. We start the conference season, of course, with Coach P. Coach P will be coming back. So March 7th, we'll have to make sure that to be in the house for that one. We love Coach P. We want her to have success everywhere, but when she comes to Tallahassee and in the SWAC tournament. Sorry to say it, Coach. We love you, but but she knows how it is. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So again, thanks to Coach Beall. You guys make sure to hit up Coach Beall on X. You can find her. I think it's her handle is at Brittany Beall, or make sure to definitely hit up that FAMU softball. And if you're not following softball on Instagram or X, you need to make sure you are, because they do great videos, great updates, and so great opportunity to follow along. So, all right. With that said, let's go ahead and get ready for our next break and come back and talk to a pair of Rattlers, none other than Kelvin Dean, friend of the program and FAMU graduate. I think that's what we call Kelvin now. And Zachary Ansley be coming on as well, another Rattler. We'll talk about what's going on for Kelvin Dean as he makes a push to join the alumni of NFL Rattlers, former football players. So hang tight. We'll be back after these words. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Brian and Kelvin here, and joining us is none other than a friend of the program, Kelvin Dean Jr. coming on. And for the first time, we say hello to Zachary Ansley joining us as well. Gentlemen, how you two doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing? I ain't heard from y'all in a minute, man. How's everything
Look,
been?
I know it's been a minute, man. How you doing?
Hey, all is good.
Thank you for granting me the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's start with Kelvin. Let's get into Kelvin here first. Love the first name, of course. But look, today happens to be National Signing Day, Kelvin. I want you to first take us back. What was this day like for you? I mean, here you are on the verge of making the next step of moving into the NFL, but I'm going to take you back. Take us back to when you were a high school senior, making that decision, and what National Signing Day or just that moment was like for you.
Man, like, just think about it. You've been working since you were 5 or 6 years old. You always wanted to go to the league, be a big-time player, and now you're signing to a college. You're doing stuff that not a lot of people from where you're from did. So, like, it's huge, and it's a big day for just not yourself, but also your family. They get that day of glory, you know, to take them pictures, get up in the front with you. So, I mean, it shines a light on your whole family and just how you was raised as a whole. So, like, this is a huge day, man. Like, you going to college to start the rest of your life. So, like, all the people that's having this chance right now, man, enjoy it. Enjoy these next 4 to 5 years, man. It goes by quick.
And as you see all these future rattlers, you know, the next, some of them are already on campus, but some of them who'll be signing in. What kind of words of advice would you share with them about this process or just this next step that they're about to take in their lives?
Man, you're going to have one of the largest support systems in America. You just got to go out there and put on for all them folks that's making sure that all the stuff on the outside that you don't have to necessarily pay attention to is taken care of. So, like, do it for everybody, like the jersey, you know, the logo on the jersey. Like, Rattler Nation is real deep, you know what I'm saying? It run deep. So I see Rattler tags all the time out here in Tampa where I'm training at. So I know it's everywhere. It's all over the world. So just know it's a lot of people supporting you, watching you, man. When you come to FAMU, just know, like, you're going to enjoy it, man. You're going to love all the time there.
Nice. And again, welcome on to the show, Zachary Ansley. If I can call you Zach or Zachary, you know, tell us a little bit about you and you know, how you came to work with Kelvin and how you two connected.
Well, a little bit about me. Some of you all may have seen me and not known who I was, but I'm the guy that walks around at the football games with the orange or the green megaphone and basically does some cheerleading. Sometimes my wife doesn't necessarily appreciate me doing that. But I've done that for many, many decades. So I am that cheerleader guy. How did I meet Kelvin? I was Kelvin's assistant principal at Rickards High School. And so I was able to enjoy him as a student before I ever knew that he was a great athlete on the football field. Just a nice boy. You could tell, like my grandmama used to say, you could tell that boy wasn't brought up. He had been raised by somebody.
Okay.
And when he finally came home to Florida A&M, I was more than overjoyed. And so we hooked up back then, all right? But never so much so as when we played in the Celebration Bowl. I know that every rattler out there was pleased, gratified, inspired, and proud because we took on a vicious opponent in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, we did.
And it was a bloodthirsty sport. We were down, but not defeated. And in the third and fourth quarter, a little old boy from Tallahassee, Florida, really by the way of, what's the name of that city, Kelvin?
Chipley, man. Come on, man. Don't act like you don't know my town, man. Come on, man.
A little boy from Chipley, Florida, came through when the Rattlers were really in a desperate situation, down by 7, then 10, and so many points. And he caught a touchdown pass, and he ran in a touchdown. Those two scores gave us a margin of victory in that Celebration Bowl, and Atlanta, Georgia was never the same. And Rattler fans were never the same. So that's why I'm here tonight to not only celebrate this young man, but as much pride as he gave us in that December Saturday afternoon, and as much as we celebrated him, he is now on the precipice of getting ready to go to what they call the combine so that he can possibly earn a right to be the next Rattler in professional football. And just like he was in high school, he's a very good student, very obedient. I don't think I had him at lunch detention, but maybe once or twice for being late to class. But the boy came and he showed up and he showed out. And so now he's trying to do something. And if I'm talking too much, let me know if you need to get in a question. But I kind of want to get all of this out.
Oh, yeah.
As proud as we were of him, we in Rattler Land would be even more proud of him if he went to that combine and absolutely showed up and showed out. And I had no idea what he was going to do or what he was doing a week and a half ago when he called me and he told me he was down at a place in Tampa, Florida, preparing to do strength and conditioning, running, agility drills, catching drills, etc. And I know the little skinny boy that I left, that left me when he was in high school. When I saw a video of this guy after now 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, this is going on week 5 right here.
Yeah, so 4 weeks. But when I saw him after 3 weeks and I saw his chest, I say somebody done superimposed with AI. I'm not lying. You know, I recognize his face, but his body structure was so much different in just then 3 weeks. And I haven't seen him now in this 4th week. But Trench Academy, and I think we had another football player from FAMU that's now in the NFL, Xavier Smith. You all know that name?
Absolutely.
I remember him, yeah.
Los Angeles Rams wide receiver
Yes.
and punt and kickoff returner. He went to this same place before the combine, gained weight, increased his speed. So when Kelvin calls me about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and said that he was down there, he asked Mr. Ansley, is there any way you can kind of help? Because my mother and my father, and I've met them, they aren't wealthy, but they are very much supportive. They were giving their all to make sure that he would have an opportunity to complete this program, and it is expensive, between $800 and $1,200 a week, and they were paying for it themselves. And so when he asked if I could help, I immediately thought, yes, I can do something. And he asked me if you can maybe contact some other people, and I do have a few connections and associates, so I reached out to some people, and the very first person I reached out to said, Mr. Ansley, don't tell me anymore. How much did you say? I said about $800. And that person said to me, I will send you a donation. And within 48 hours, I got in my account $400. And I told that person, if you do that, I'll match. Since that time, we've amassed, and I talked to the FAMU 220 Club. They were very, very allowing me to speak to them. But since that time, we've raised over $1,100 for Kelvin. But a small amount of people have donated. Really only about 5, 6 now, as of today. But what I didn't expect is the people at Trench Academy were so enthused about at least my attempt to outreach that they made a video, and I think I sent it to you, Kelvin, not Kelvin Dean, but of Kelvin from the time that he had gotten there to show his development. That video has now spread across Tallahassee. I got a call today from Jacksonville, and FAMU fans, hey man, I'm sending money down today. Just tell me how to do it to help out his family who's trying to meet this $800 to $1,200 weekly bill. And they've been doing it for 4 weeks by themselves. But what we did is, a few of us put together and we paid for this 5th week. He's got still about 3 or 4 more weeks. But Trench Academy paid just as much as we have donated so far. That blew my mind. So I'm here with what my grandmama would call an ass beg. I'm asking and I'm begging that if we were so appreciative of his efforts for us, that now I'm asking that we would help his parents by helping finance the rest of his journey through Trench Academy. And I have information on how we can do that. So that's a lot of information, but I'm saying we need to stop talking about FAMU and how we love you and family. And I'm not saying that we aren't doing it, but here's a guy that's in need. And if he gets to the pro level, I'm telling you, I'll be bragging my butt off. I'll scratch the top of my bald head and tell people what I had to do with it. And I want every one of you all to do the same. So that's kind of the long and short of it.
Good stuff. Can you put the info in the chat, and or at least I don't know, Kelvin, do we have a link? If I have a link, I don't know if you in the private chat, if you can drop the link information there, that way I can make sure it gets on the screen and everything, because I already got people in the chats asking how they can support. But Kelvin, while we're doing that, Rozier, if you want to jump in there with a question or two, go ahead.
Kelvin, talk about what you're doing and what kind of improvements you've seen just with the 4 weeks you've done already in terms of your training. And talk about, I know there's at least one other Rattler that's there too. So just kind of talk about that.
Well, just how it began was he called me and he was like, "Listen, man, my dad gonna make an investment in me, do whatever he got to do to help me get this training." And I had 3 days left. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was kind of gonna be in Tallahassee trying to do it myself, and that's a whole nother level of hard to get to the league doing it like that. So I called my parents. I'm like, "Listen, man, I need y'all to come through and do whatever y'all can." So we made it work, or however we've been doing it so far. We got down to Tampa, and through 4 weeks, I feel like I'm already running at least a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash. My bench press rep has came up probably 8 to 10 reps already. I'm jumping a 37.5-inch vertical, which is amazing. Testing wise, like I'm looking at combine numbers and mine are blowing them out of the water right now. Also, the people here, like they love me. Like he said, they're willing to match whatever the fan or whatever the alumni decides to help me out with, which is big time. Which just kind of is a testament to the work that I've been putting in. So just I feel like a whole different person. Like, man, if I could look at my body 4 weeks ago compared to now, just like he said, like it's drastic improvements, and I've gained 6 pounds, but I look like I'm way more cut up than I used to look. So that's a good thing, man. I feel like by the time pro day comes around, like when the NFL scouts see me walk on the field, I mean, it's no reason why I shouldn't have a chance. I talked to it. They've paired me with about 3 or 4 agents I've been talking to, and they told me, like, listen, the NFL is looking for backs like you that can catch out of the backfield, you know what I'm saying, and be big time in space. So y'all watched that the past few years. When I get the ball out of the backfield and stuff like that, it's usually big time plays that happen. So if my game could just go ahead and translate to the league, I think, I have a big chance to do that. And as soon as I do that, Rattler Nation, I'm coming back. We donating to the Fang Exchange. We're trying to get 5 stars at FAMU in the next few years or something. Like, we're trying to get big time athletes. So I'm just trying to do it so I can really give back to Rattler Nation and help us, take that next step that FAMU trying to take.
Gotcha. Who else is training? Down there
Jalen
besides you?
Jalen Goss is down here with me. James Ash is actually down here right now for a little bit training. So we got a pipeline of FAMU guys. Like I said, Eric Smith trained here last year. Xavier Smith 2 years ago. Isaiah Land just came in 2 days ago. Him and y'all know Rockout. What's his name? Kamari Stevens.
Yes.
He's training here, so it's a few Rattlers training here that you guys know about, well-known names that are here training. So I feel like they're also pushing us hard. Like, they're doing interviews, making videos on us just to get our names out there. And they're also telling us they'll be at Pro Day supporting us, shopping us to the scouts. So Jalen Goss is actually the guy that's here currently with me that kind of inspired me to want to actually come down here and do it.
When is pro day? And I'm assuming this is the pro day at Tallahassee at FAMU, right? Is the date been set?
I think it's like the 3rd week of March. We're kind of waiting on Florida and Florida State to do theirs. The scouts usually go to all of them in one day, just at set times. So I'm kind of waiting on the word from Coach Colzie, but we should know something in the next couple of weeks.
Coach Colzie was at the 220 Club today, and I believe he said that it was the 2nd week. It may be the 3rd, so please don't hold me to it, but it's coming up pretty soon. So, I for one want both of these young men, both Kelvin and Mr. Goss, to be able to work through this academy right up until that pro day, before that combine. And incidentally, Mr. Goss is also going to be playing in the Legacy Bowl on, I think it's February 22nd.
February 17th through 21st. It'll be live on TV and stuff, all their combines and all that. So y'all can tune in and watch my boys go crazy, man.
And do know this. I would really want for us, FAMUans, since we got a guy from Trench Academy that I've never met, that's willing to support a kid from FAMU that he just met. I'd like for us to support both these guys and kind of ease up some of the burdens on their families. It's a massive burden trying to pay $800 to $1,200 per week for 8 weeks. They made it through 4. All we got to do is kind of help the families make it through the other portion. And I was asked this question in the 220 Club. Well, is this tax deduction? No, it's not. It's not tax deductible. It's the kind of thing that you do for a neighbor when you see them hungry and they need some food and you got a little more food than you can not necessarily eat, but you need, and you just give it to them and you don't ask for any deductions. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. And that's the way we become, in actuality, FAMULY and family. Mm-hmm. If you can't give $100, give 50 or 25 even. But if every one of us gives a little something, these guys, once they make it into pros, and even if they do not, we'll all be proud that we did what we could do when we could. And with that, I yield.
Kelvin, go ahead for a second. I'm trying to load up some information in the in the chat feed here.
Did you see what I put in the chat? Is it showing?
Yes. I'm about to post that on the in the feeds here.
So Kelvin and Mr. Ansley, talk about what's the best way for anybody who want to help, contribute, how they can do that while we get the whatever information ready.
Well, I kind of gave it to Mr. Ansley so he can give y'all all the information.
Okay.
All right. What I did when Kelvin called me and told me the name of the organization is I called them directly. And there is a lady and her husband that are running this program, and they run it for middle school, high school, college students, and guys that are in pros. All right. And I asked them, well, what's the best way for us to pay for it? And this lady, who's the wife of the owner, well, they are co-owners, Miss K, said, well, you can send a payment through Zelle, or you can write a check and mail it to us. And I put the address in the chat. Or you could send it through a credit card payment. All right. Now, those are the 3 methods that she talked to me about. And I've used at least one of those methods. I use credit card, and they do charge a service fee, but hey, the service fee is nebulous considering what the result could be if these guys get in. I think it's like 2-3%. So those are the 3 methods she mentioned to me. I left her name and number in there because you can reach out to her directly. She was very impressed, and her husband, so much so with the initial donations that we got, like I said, about $1,100, that she created a video featuring just Kelvin to show his progress. And I sent that to you, Kelvin, also, right?
Yes, you did.
And as I said,
Kelvin didn't send it to me so I can get it loaded. Shame on you, Kelvin.
Okay, go. Shame on you, Kelvin. But yes, I will. But I don't know how to contact you, but you can tell me later on, or just send me a text. Kelvin has my information. But I am very optimistic that the FAMU family will come out and help this guy get into the pros. And like I said, even if neither one of the guys make it, rest assured, I'll just be satisfied and gratified that at least they took the next step to try to get there. They're working very hard. And I thank you guys for giving us this platform tonight to speak on. I really do.
No, I just want to say I thank you for reaching out and making us aware of it, because when you reached out to me, you hadn't, we just recently, I've seen you at games and everything, but, we didn't know each other to the point where we had each other contact. And you just kind of reached out by reaching through your connections with the boosters. And when you shared this with me, I was like, our platform is this for causes, all FAMU causes and all Rattlers, not just when they're students, but as they try to pursue their professional career. So I was like, no, this is a no-brainer. We got to get Kelvin and you on the call and get Rally Nation to rally and try to, contribute. So I know I'll be making contact and doing my part of that as soon as this show is over.
Okay. But and like I said, please don't forget Mr. Goss, you all also. We need to support them both.
And I did put and the reason I put the website there and all the information you provided there, Miss Ansley, I put all the information there so you see it in the scroll. You see the website, because you may want to say, well, let me go look at this website. There's the website right there, thetrenchacademy.com, and all the information that's in the scroll is in the chat feeds, because we do run our feeds. Again, there may be people who may miss this segment and come back upon it. So it'll run live through the live chat. So it's there. I found a video because I saw Kelvin, you retweeted. I don't know if
I sure did.
Yeah. Anyway,
they're gonna just throw me under the bus.
I'm gonna throw you under the bus. I'm gonna get my one opportunity here. So I'm gonna let me see if I can. I don't know if I can play it with the music. I don't know. I'll probably get clipped here with YouTube and their restrictions, but we're gonna see what happens here. Let me see if I can play the video and avoid any kind of, I don't know if I can avoid any kind of later clips by because YouTube has like these crazy rules when it comes to videos. So let me see if I can play the video here, and then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. We'll keep our fingers crossed, because I know there is some audio to it, right, Kelvin? You got some audio in here where you're talking a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's see if this comes through.
Kelvin Dean, running back, Florida A&M University. A few guys from my school in the past came. I talked to my teammate Jalen, and also I got a phone call from Coach Taylor, and they kind of just walked me through the whole process, and everything just made sense. Them guys came back to pro day looking different physically, moving fast. They ran good times, and it was just a lot of production based off of what they did in the time here. So I felt like I could come through and then do the same thing. Based off of that, really, I understand now. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Like, I'm coming in after this is week 4, almost done with week 4. So after 4 weeks, I'm looking at myself compared to pictures I took previous to coming here, and it's like, wow, like I'm shedding body fat, like I'm getting more cut up. I can feel myself getting faster every day, and I can also come in the weight room and see drastic improvements. I'm getting stronger and all of that. I'm gonna definitely say the weight room. Like, I'm one of them guys that's not super huge on lifting, but just the explanations of everything made me realize, like, this is the type of stuff that I need to become a physical specimen that I want to be and pass the eyeball test on pro day. So right now, it's definitely the weight room. Man, it's going to be having me ready to shock the world. After 4 weeks, I feel different already. I feel prepared after just 4 weeks. So imagine 8 to 12 weeks of straight work. We're doing 5 days a week really hard and yoga on the weekend. So I feel like I'll be super ready for pro day when it comes around. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Zachary Ansley, getting up in front of the Tallahassee 220 Club, kind of promoting me, letting all the folks help me out in whatever ways they can help me out, you know what I'm saying? Just standing on the table for me to help me achieve my dreams. So I just want to give a huge shout out to like all the FAMU alumni that's stepping up to the plate for me, even though I've graduated and I'm on to the next level. They want to see more Rattlers make it to the league. So man, big shout out to them, man. Thank y'all for all of that. Kelvin Dean, running back, Florida A&M University.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah,
that's a good video, man.
Great video.
Look good. You look good there, Kelvin, man.
Hey, you see the arms popping out the shirt? I'm telling you,
I saw it.
Can't even
I
fit
see
no more, man.
I wore this shirt. I wore this shirt because I was just going to say I wore this shirt because I didn't want to show him up. I could have worn a different shirt.
We say it's all about Dean today, right? I got you.
That's right. Yes.
Hey, Kelvin, I had a quick thought. Obviously, you being a running back, your former teammate Terrell Jennings, he, in the league after his first season at New England. I'm sure you've had conversations with him. What kind of things has he shared with you about what's ahead? What this period of the year is like for you? What kind of things has he shared with you?
Man, he was just like, listen, don't focus on hanging out, don't focus on women, nothing, man. Like, straight lock in on the craft, like, because a lot of people, once you actually put your mind to something, or you know what I'm saying, like, say you want your body to change and look a certain way, once you lock in and put your mind to it, it's not really hard to get to where you want to get. So he was just telling me, lock in, man, go hard as you can for these 8 weeks, so when it's time to show out, you'll be ready, and he was just, that's my dog, we close. So he was telling me straight up, when you get here, bro, it's easy. You got to just do your thing out here like you've been doing. Like, it's just football. So I'm just really ready to, get in front of the scouts and show them, man, I'm different.
Sounds like it's just the level of professionalism that goes with the job, if I'm hearing you right.
Yeah, man, you're just getting paid the big bucks. Make sure you stay healthy, take care of your quarterback, man, and make plays. You'll be just fine.
I like that. You got to take care of your quarterback.
Got to. They're paying that guy millions, man. Got to protect him.
Exactly. Okay, good stuff. Well, hey, again, Rattler Nation, let's get behind our guys. I mean, we support our guys during the season, and like Mr. Ansley said, we got to support them as they're in that process of going to the next step. So I appreciate you, Kelvin, and Mr. Ansley for coming in and sharing the story with you, because I think we don't really hear about this stage. Like, we see the pro day stuff, and then we see the after, but this is I would tend to think this is the hard part. This is the hardest part, because you're trying to get somebody to believe and see what we know. We know what you can do. We've seen you. Now you're trying to get somebody who hasn't seen as much as we have to believe. And that comes all through the hard work that you're putting in at places like Trench Academy. So this is the hardest part. And so I would implore Rattler Nation to find a way, if you can, to support Kelvin and Jalen on their journey here. Definitely. And please, again, make sure to take a look at the information there that's in the chat, the information there on the scroll, and then again, the website, thetrenchacademy.com, to get more info. Jalen, I want to give you the last word, buddy. Oh, sorry. Give you the last word, Jalen. Any final thoughts that you want to share or say to Rattler Nation?
You mean Kelvin?
I'm sorry. Yes, Kelvin.
Thank y'all, man. Like I said, get in contact with Mr. Ansley to help me out. I'm working every day just trying to make it, make this thing happen. And one thing I just got to say is September 6th, FAMU play FAU, both of my old schools. So Rattlers, show up to Boca, man. Let's take over that stadium, man. Let's walk out with a dub, man. That's the last thing I gotta say. Let's walk out with a dub against my old school. It'll really have a good warm place in my heart if we go beat the Owls. So
Oh, last but
Absolutely.
not least, I just put my telephone number in the chat also. So if anybody would like to call me, they will be able to reach me.
You don't want me to put that out there, do you, Mr. Ansley? Or you want to talk? You
Oh,
talking about us?
look. I was a high school administrator for 25 years, and I gave my cell phone number to every student and every parent every year. What's the worst they can do? If they call me, I can always change my number if I get ticked off.
All right, so there it is. If you have more questions, Rattlers, you let us know. I'll be a little protective. You let us know, and I'll make sure you get Mr. Ansley's number there. But I think on the scroll is a lot of the information that you see that can be helpful. And we'll make sure to repub it and throw it out in the chats one more time. So, all right. Well,
appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right,
too,
man.
Train well. We'll see you.
Keep grinding. And thank you, Ms. Dansley.
All right, and thank you guys for giving us a platform to speak from.
Yes, indeed. All right, guys. All right. So good stuff there, okay? Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here pressing buttons trying to figure out. I don't even remember what I said. Did I not say Kelvin or did I not say D? What did I say?
Jalen.
Oh shit, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was trying to make sure to get the info in about him and Kelvin, and sorry about that. So
you can't, how you gonna mess up Kelvin?
Look. Anyway, okay, let's take a quick break because coming back, we're going to talk about it is signing day, and I think we need to get into a little bit of the latest news regarding the 2025 class. Again, if you've been following our show, you know our co-host Marcus Green has been keeping tabs on every commitment, on every offer. And we've shown some of those throughout the last couple of shows, and I think we have a pretty accurate list from what our sources have given us. So we're gonna go through the names, confirm, kind of see what things haven't officially been confirmed, and we're gonna do that with our good friend Keith Hadley of the Things Up podcast right after this break. So, recruiting news coming up. Class of 25, Coach Colzie, FAMU football, coming up right on the other side of this break. Hang tight. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball teams were selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T. The fourth annual NBA HBCU Classic will be played in the Bay Area as part of NBA All-Star 2025 and will once again celebrate the rich traditions, on-court athleticism, and commitment to excellence of the HBCU community. For tickets, visit nba.com/all-star.
All right, welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Brian, Kelvin, and joining us, good friend of the program, Keith Hadley of the Things Up podcast. Keith, what up? How you doing?
How's it going?
Man,
All is well, my brother.
We're making it, man. I'm making it. Well, it's a bit rough over here in these streets, but I'm making it.
Yeah, stay up, stay healthy, man. Stay up, stay healthy.
Trying. EA, yes, it is Christmas Day for Marcus. Unfortunately, Marcus is not here to unwrap all the presents, but Marcus did a lot of the in the best way that Marcus can. Marcus has done all of the pre-shopping, did the shopping, even did the gift wrapping, he just said, guys, deliver the goods. So I mean, look, we got all kinds of stuff that we can get into. National Signing Day. What are some of your impressions about Keith? We'll go through some of the names on this list, but what are some of your impressions from the names, the offers, just in general?
I think the most important thing I really noticed was just filling the needs you had, and especially filling needs at key positions and places that people were concerned about, especially quarterback. You kind of had a late clutch moment that kind of kicked in there that I personally, I was glad about, because, I do know, we have some needs that are needed to be filled in at the quarterback, but also was kind of looking at that linebacker room and noticed it's a little thin over there.
Right. Okay. So let's get into some of these verbal commits and signees. So, as Marcus has been putting together this graph, or this these graphics rather, a lot of these are fresh as of today, but some of these you have seen already. And I think as we talked offline, we will go through and tell, and again, there is no formal right now. You haven't seen any graphics, you haven't seen any formal, splash and stuff like you see in other schools, obviously. But we're pretty solid in what we've seen, what we've been able to gather in terms of the info regarding this 2025 class. Of course, those of you who may be following Gerald and watching Gerald Thomas, reading his articles on the Tallahassee Democrat, he's been running a tracker as well. I don't know, Kelvin, do you have that sheet pulled up from Gerald? We can kind of balance just to make sure, Keith and I have kind of done some background stuff as well. Okay. All right. So let's kind of go through the names. Now, what I also love about the way Marcus works, Marcus loves to work in order. So what we're going to show you from the first commitment to what we have currently. And our first commit,
signee.
I'm sorry, first signee. Well, yes. Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of correction we do here, because I want to make sure I say it right. Our first signee, who committed actually first, the first commitment of the 2025 class. You can look at the date from back on all the way on September 5th. Was Samuel Mitchell, the fourth, a 6'5" defensive end / linebacker out of Davie, Florida. He was a 23 Miami Herald Class 4A member, 3A All Broward County. His team went to the Metro Finals in 24, and in 23 they went to what was the regional finals. All right. I guess we can go. Any comments or anything you guys jump in here before I move to the next one? I'll kind of pause for a second. So when I do that, if you guys got any thoughts, just jump in there. All right.
Let me just say, high school kid signed. He officially signed today. He's one of 3 confirmed high school signees. As you go through these names, almost everybody is not a commit, even though they're show commit. They're signees, and most of the, I think all except 1 or 2 of the JUCO transfers are already on campus and going through workouts. So
great,
but
point.
He's a legacy. Sam Mitchell is a product of Rattlers. So.
Okay.
Yeah, he reminds me of Isaiah Land. Like when you start looking at the like height, weight, speed type vibe, he's a little taller than Isaiah Land, but he's coming in as a defensive end, really. And so you kind of think about some of the challenges, but also some of the how difficult it was to stop Isaiah Land. If he can gain another 15 to 20 pounds, he fits into that modern defensive end, third down pass rusher that you see in the NFL.
And I have seen his film, and he's got a quick first step, just like Isaiah did. Beats people off the ball.
Good stuff. All right, next up, we've got a signee. I noticed a lot of our graphics say committed, but we can confirm he signed. Defensive back Chase Dexter, transfer from the Air Force Academy. He's from Plant City, Florida. Only spent 1 year at the Air Force Academy before transferring to FAMU, and you can see he committed back in November, late November 29th, 2024.
Solid size for a DB. Will he play safety is the question.
What I love, not only length, but the number of years available. I love it when we got kids coming in who are not high schoolers who have 3 to 4 years still to get acclimated to our system and to potentially contribute. So,
and another Florida guy. So you start considering, we talked about people buying tickets and other things earlier. It's a lot easier to get people to buy tickets when they only got to drive 2 or 3 hours for the game.
All right, next up, we've got a kicker / punter, Alexander Davis, who is a class of 2023 high school student from Timber Creek High School in Orlando, went to Mississippi Valley State. So he's a transfer, but you can see FAMU, I believe if I'm reading, I got this note here from Marcus. The text in green at the bottom of each player shows the original offer date and the days to commitment. So there's a guy who we offered back in 2022, and just took a couple years for him to finally come to FAMU. But better late than never, right?
Well, we had All-Americans,
right,
for those 2 years. So if he had came, he wouldn't have been playing.
No,
yes. I got you.
And another good get from the east side of the city. So he's barely in Orlando, but they don't have a really good football tradition over there at Timber Creek, but it's a school where you can get a good kicker or quarterback out of there.
Yeah.
Well, and he did start for Valley and played against us and helped keep us in, help them, especially in our first half, keep great field position.
Right. Yeah. Okay, next up, defensive lineman Xavier Perkins, committed and signed. He's a transfer from Berkeley Prep in Tampa, transfer from Florida State, right across the street. didn't have to go too far. He committed back in December, just after a week after entering the portal. What's your thoughts, guys?
I think it's a big get for him. I mean, you go from being a preferred walk-on to being on scholarship, so that's pretty huge right there. But also, tradition-rich high school, as far as Berkeley Prep, produced pretty good football product. Looking forward to see, can he fill in that role on defensive end, because we noticed this year our defensive line kind of got overworked at times. We tried to really overuse our interior line. He's going to probably be an edge rusher. Hopefully he's not sliding over to the inside too often, but hopefully he's a guy that can help stop the run that you use maybe through first, second, and sometimes on third down due to his size.
Saw this kid when he was at a visit to Florida State, and really good size. And he's had a year at the FBS level with the training table and his body. He's a big kid. And I thought that one of the things that were missing from last year's defense compared to previous year's defense was we weren't as big physically or tall as previous years. So he fits the bill of what's been successful for FAMU with our dark cloud defense.
All right. Next up, another D lineman, Daryl DJ Jones, 6'4", 280, a little bigger guy. He's out of Hillsborough High School, Tampa, Florida, class of 23, transfer from UVA, University of Virginia in Charlottesville, a 3-star out of high school. This looks to be some good size in the interior, I think, and coming from a Power 5, Power 4 program.
Yeah, size-wise, I mean, he's going to probably go next to James Ash. And then also with that defensive tackle that we had from Kennesaw State, you're looking for somebody to kind of fill in those gaps. You didn't replace Gentle Hunt last season. That was obvious. You just looked at the running game last season. This is a guy that's bigger height-wise, similar weight. Can he help leverage the line of scrimmage? Can he also put his hands up? I mean, honestly, 6'4", and a lot of our quarterbacks in the Southwestern Athletic Conference are below 6'4". So when he puts his hands up, even with their release points, that ball can get tipped in the air, and maybe that turns into a turnover.
Yes, a kid that in interior, I think, will project to be very difficult because he's extremely athletic for his size, and so the length along with the athleticism, I think, is going to be a real big plus. And he'll probably start off as a rotational piece. He is one of the few guys that Coach Colzie mentioned that during the offs, so far early season workouts has popped. So he may be a potential starter. We'll see how that goes, but love his size and athleticism.
Yeah. And I especially love. Oh, what were you saying, Brian?
No. Go ahead.
I was saying I especially love the fact that it allows people like James Ash to maybe set up a rotation. As Kelvin mentioned, I felt like at times we overused our defensive line, and sometimes we didn't get into a good rotation where that James Ash could get off the field, catch a breath, get back full, to 100%. Because when he's healthy and has his wind to him, he's more of a devastating and disruptive player.
Yeah, I saw EA ask, was there any film from Virginia? I don't see any film from Virginia, but he, he's a class of 23, so that means he was only at UVA for a year. So it's very likely that
red shirt.
Red shirt or maybe just practice reps. You won't have anything other than practice film on him. Not really sure he got into very many, if any, games over at UVA, even though their results weren't. I think, didn't they finish below 500 over at Virginia this past season?
Yeah, I think their brother's about to get the axe pretty soon.
Yeah, it wasn't a great year for them. Okay, moving forward, the next guy up, of course, you guys know this guy. I'm not gonna say not going to call him QB1 just yet, but one of two signed quarterbacks for this class. The first one, he committed back on December 22nd out of the transfer portal from Central Michigan. Tyler Jefferson, 6 foot 235, from from Hawthorne / Lake City. Went to both schools. I will say I saw a picture of him next to Mr. Chester. Now he's listed at 6 feet.
He's tall. He looked taller.
Thank you. I was about to say, I'm still next to Mr. Chester. I'm 6'1". Mr. Chester's taller than me, or as tall as me. And looking at the photo that I saw, Tyler looks about 6'2". What do you guys think?
I totally agree with you. When I saw that picture, that's what stood out to me, along with that kiddo is built like a truck.
Yeah.
He is cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a
load.
I'm trying to think of a comparative. I mean, body size wise,
like
right?
a Jalen Hurts type, like as far as like built wise. Like I don't know if y'all seen Jalen Hurts, when he's not like all padded up. That dude is very defined.
Yes. Yeah.
If he's accurate,
he's a physical freak. Yeah. Yeah. And he has tape. He did play.
Yes. And a dual threat, which is also one of the things that Coach Colzie and Coach Burris wanted from their QB for the 25 season. Already been established. So,
and again, as we go through these slides, it says committed, but these kids are signed and on campus.
Correct. Thank you. We'll continue to remind people of that. All right, next up, another signed, committed back on December 22nd. Currently signed, Dalen Diston, 6'1" DB from out of Lake Butler, Florida. Transfer from East Carolina University. Former 3-star, as you can see when he graduated in high school. What's your thoughts, guys?
Trying to replace Bowler. Look at the size. I mean, it's literally, not saying talent-wise, but look at the size. He's literally like a Kendall Bowler clone. So 6'1", 175. Looking for him to be a DB. It's a position of need. I mean, obviously, your defensive backs, you had one lockdown and you had one that was not a lockdown. So you're definitely trying to fix that position and address those needs. And that's a place that you are definitely going to be spending a lot of time just to make sure that you correct, and something that you've tried to help out with, both bringing in defensive backs and bringing in defensive linemen to help them.
By the way, East Carolina had a pretty good season this year. Very competitive against ACC schools, and they actually got a win or two. And Lake Butler Union County is a smaller rural school near Jacksonville, between Jacksonville and Gainesville, but they always have players and a pretty good team too. So it's a kid that's kind of used to winning, and I like that. Kids who used to win and don't like to lose. I like them on my team.
All right. Sticking in the secondary, we've got another DB commit / signee. Deion Villers. 6 foot 195 from Lakeland, Florida, went to Lake Gibson High School. He's a transfer from Tennessee State, from TSU, played for Coach Eddie George last year. Part of a very good Lake Gibson team that in his senior year, they went to the state semifinals in Class 7A. 7A, largest classification in the state of Florida, for those of you who don't know. What do we like about Deion from his time at Tennessee State? And I believe there is film on him coming from Tennessee State, correct?
He was a starter, and I know Blue, Zach, mentioned when he saw that he had visited and committed that he thought this was potentially going to be the next all OVC player for Tennessee State. So he's played against quality talent and been coached well. High school played against good talent, and good size, solid. 200-pound. DB is pretty good, and he's a safety. Already on campus. Probably the expectation is he's going to be one of the safeties. That's he's got to earn it, but he came. You recruited him and brought him to start.
Yeah, because I think he's got like 1 year left pretty much. So hopefully it helps us kind of also reestablish that or establish a wall around Central Florida. I mean, Polk County, you have some of the best football in the state in that area. Lake Gibson, obviously Lakeland, the Dreadnoughts. You slide on over the Hillsborough. That Central Florida corridor has got some good football down here, and you got some good players that have come out of that area that have come to FAMU. And I mean, you have one that's potentially going to the NFL draft right now.
You said 1 year left, Keith. I would imagine he might have two, actually, depending upon depending upon what he did his very first year out of high school. That fall 22 year. I mean, so he may have 2 years of eligibility left. I do agree with you. Saw the comment from Marvin. Love the fact that Florida players are coming back to the state. So far you're seeing a theme in these transfer portal guys. All right. Just as I say that, go over to another DB from just a little north of Tallahassee. That's Taquan Lattimore. Big kid, 6'3", 195, committed back on Christmas Eve, is signed as well, part of this class, a transfer from UNC Charlotte, from Cairo, Georgia. Class of 21. Now, he may only have 1 year eligibility left. But then again, he's got some JUCO time. So as you can see, the new rules may apply to him as he was originally in JUCO in 2022. So, you never know. He may have more than a year of eligibility.
Hopefully this syrup maker can be sticky in coverage, man. I mean, 6'3", 195. If he, especially heavens forbid, he can play corner. If he can play corner in, one of your boundary corners, that height alone is a problem. I mean, you have a couple teams in the SWAC that have a few big receivers, but for the most part, the receivers are kind of average height. You don't have a lot of 6'4", 6'5s out there, but a guy that height, if he can cover with the darn, man, the conference is going to be in trouble.
Cairo, South Georgia, played against top competition. He's been to JUCO. He's been FBS. So he's coming in as a experienced transfer. He's another one you would anticipate to be, at the very least, a key rotational piece, but probably a starter also.
All right. Moving into the special teams category, Cooper Baddix from out of Ocala, Florida. But he's a transfer from Edward Waters, and I watched him. I called a couple of Edward Waters games this past year. Watch him. Very good kicker for Edward Waters this past season. So, again, having to fill a need. We definitely had some needs on special teams, and I think Cooper, who you can see committed on the day after Christmas, is signed. And I feel real good about what he can bring to the kicking game this upcoming season, guys.
Football powerhouse in Trinity Catholic. And frankly, him being at Edward Waters, because come out of high school, he had FBS, potential stats, all that good stuff. Especially from the program, but high school kids they have to get in where they fit in because of the transfer portal. So, he'll be contributing probably right away.
Position of need, man. Position of need, especially when you're talking about coaching a position by committee. That's going to be interesting to see how that gets done. But if you can bring in somebody to maybe just be a kicking specialist and coach them up, I think they'll be okay. They're kickers.
And Slat 25 asked in the chat, and just to remind you guys that you may just be joining us there right now, we only have 3 high school signees committed, and we'll get to the we've already shown you one. We'll get to the other 2 here a little bit shortly here in the presentation. And the question was coach's philosophy to build through the portal every year. Guys, I think isn't that where college football is these days? Where especially at our level, aren't you? You're kind of building in the portal somehow, some way every year, aren't you?
A lot of teams are. There's a few exceptions, like a Clemson at the FBS level. I don't think North Dakota State, but they target and get the recruits they're looking for. So, and what I would say is, and the coach spoke to this when he was on O&G. Some of it has not only because of the expectation, and we expect to win all the time, but in terms of getting into FAMU, there's a difference.
Yes,
coming in as a freshman versus coming in as a transfer or a JUCO.
Not as easy as you might think, or might have been.
Yeah,
I guess that's maybe a way of saying it, right?
Yeah, I think that thing that Kelvin mentioned too is vitally important. It's win time. Like that Valley experience left a sour taste in a lot of Rattler Nation. We're in year 2 of a 3-year contract, so it's got to get better than 7-5.
Yeah. All right, another kicker / punter, Andrew Abu Akel. He is a transfer from Western Michigan, but went to high school at Shamada Madonna in Hollywood, class of 24. So
number
only
one high school football program in the state, and is nationally ranked every year for the last 7-8 years, probably. Just a monster program. Yeah.
Right. So needless to say, here's a kid who no stranger to kicking in big time games, making big time plays. He knows the assignment, knows the job. And so, obviously not three. I guess we'll have to wait to see how it all shakes out. Who will be the punter, who will be the long kickoff guy, who will be the long range field goal kicker. What is that's a later conversation that we can break down in terms of looking at these guys. But I think it will be interesting to kind of see who does what and what their role will be on the special teams.
And I think that's the intent with having 2 kickers, is to have, someone who handles kickoffs and then someone who handles field goals, and depending on ledge, short versus long. So,
and then also what third player from the MAC that's committing to FAMU off of just this roster alone. So I'm thinking, this is just me, and take it for what it is. I know Keith's a little different. This, considering what the MAC is, you look at their facilities, you look at your facilities. A lot of times, I think that's a place where you can look, and it's very comparable. Like stadium size wise, they may have some better weight room and other facilities, but a lot of the other areas, you start to look around, and the MAC schools aren't so much different from the SWAC schools when we're talking about just facilities. And most times, the fan engagement's better. We do a much better job attending our activities. You'll notice the players who go to those MAC schools, they come to our HBCUs and they love it.
Hey, man, it's cold. These Florida boys.
That's it.
Obviously, the Western Michigan kids specifically are communicating. They and have this pipeline thing going.
Yeah. Special teams coach. What did we? B Starks is asking about special teams coach. Has that?
Nothing has been announced.
Nothing been decided. I didn't think so.
And coach did say he's not bringing in a dedicated person to be the special teams coach. That it will be distributed among staff, and you might have just one person with the title. But so we don't have a dedicated special teams coach, which we didn't have when Willie first got here.
Yeah, we found out we needed one though, but
Yeah.
I guess look,
But
we'll
it's
see
not
how it works
typical.
out.
It's not necessarily typical at our level though. It's
It's a
there's
luxury
plenty of
item.
teams.
It's a
Yeah.
luxury item, right? I would call it a luxury item. If you can have it, it can't but help. But
He felt like he could do it because he was calling offensive plays and he was coaching a position. So that's how you made them. Because you got to remember, there's a budget. You got to make the money work with the staff you got. So usually, what coaches are deciding on at our level with our budgets is, hey, I got 11 coaches and can I afford to have a person dedicated just to special teams? And if you're a head coach that coaches a position or a coordinator, then yeah, you can find a way to make that work.
all right, moving forward back into the secondary with our next commit / signee, Jalik Thomas, 6 foot 200 from Macon, Georgia, class of 2021, but then spent a little bit of time at the JUCO level at Independence Community College, then went to Appalachian State, and that is where he's transferring from. So here's another young man who probably has at least 2 years left, thanks to the new JUCO rule or the whatever we're calling that. So he's coming into FAM with a year, and then he'll probably have another one afterwards. You can see pretty decorated player out of Georgia. Thoughts, guys?
Can he play corner or is he a safety? That's the question. We obviously Deco's gone, so you got to replace Deco if he doesn't get the whatever thing.
Correct.
Let's see. Moving forward here. Staying in the defensive unit. How about a linebacker here? Linebacker Justice Cross, 6'2", 225, out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. One of those FAU transfers. Well, we keep a pipe between Western Michigan and FAU. We seem to be plucking those kids left and right. But anyway, so he's a former 3-star. He'll be looking forward to that game on September 6th when we go down to FAU. Big time accolades coming out of high school. I believe it looks like this might be his last year eligibility, seeing that he was at FAU and Murray State. So this is probably his last year eligibility.
Oh no, he's class 21, so that's 4 years. You usually get, I think so. It depends.
Yep.
If he got red shirt, he got 2.
All right.
And really good football
most recently he was Murray State. Yeah.
So
I'm sorry.
Did he maybe he encouraged to come down here when a certain defensive coordinator left too?
Okay. Again, his most recent transfer from Murray State. He out of high school he went to FAU, and then transferred to Murray State, and so that's where he ended up. All right.
Notice his size is similar to Chaney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, notice that.
He's a kind of bigger size linebacker, which I like.
Maybe he can come off the edge every once in a while.
That might be a little small to come off the edge.
Depends on your package. No deal.
All right. The next, let's move over to the offense. The next commit who has signed is a running back, Jamal Haley, from guess where? Western Michigan. Transferred from Western Michigan. He's from Barron Springs, Michigan. Was voted the Detroit Free Press class of 21 all-state football team on offense, a former 3-star guy. Also has some track accolades. So you can see he was a state champion in the 100, 200, and 4x4 relay. So that's a young man who's got some speed.
He had a few carries too. He has a little bit of game film. And the interesting thing for him is he's leaving home because he's a Michigan kid. He's not a Florida kid coming home. So and it's a position of need in the sense that we got two of our top 3 running backs back this year, but we were looking for speed. And as you can see by his track accolades, this is a speed guy. So we're going to be looking for him to be able to come in, pick up the offense, and be that home run hitter.
Coach Colzie got tired of y'all talking about having slow running backs.
Exactly. All right. Back over to the defensive line we go. Committed on the 7th of January, Elijah Alexander out of Savannah, Georgia. Recently transferred from Stetson University. He was an all-state class 4A football player for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution back in 2022. Defensive player of the year for his team, a pretty good team who won a state championship in Georgia. So, so another good big interior guy right up there with the other young man that we noted. Your thoughts, guys?
Another kid who had some film, at Stetson. So he's coming in with some PT. And, again, 6'3", 280, a little bit longer than the lineman that we had last year. And so, that defensive front as part of a rotation, because I'm going to talk when we get through about everybody who's coming back, and I'm going to do it from a number standpoint. So, we're looking like we're trying to build up that dark cloud defense to be able to give more pressure and be more stout against the run up the middle, which was, our weaker points.
Yes, and I'll be honest with y'all, Stetson would hate to see me coming. Stetson does not give those kids football scholarships, and FAMU does. And so first time you see that orange and green, you already know dollar signs behind it. So I think that's just one of the things to kind of consider. I mean, they are in the Pioneer League, and much like the Ivy League, they pride themselves on not giving those kids football scholarships. I had a student play there, and that's a school where they've seen a couple players leave, come to FAMU, and we've even seen some leave FAMU after that. So Stetson is making itself out just because of some of the stuff they do to be a place that can be a potential farm system for a school like FAMU.
Good stuff. Didn't know that. Good stuff. All right. Next up, here's a young man that interesting size and position. Gavin Hill, former 4-star. Gainesville, Florida, transferred from the University of Florida, right there to SEC. And you can see he played a little both defensive line and tight end, 6'3", 275. What does he project at? What are you hearing? Where are we going to use him at? Tight end, or will he actually be on the D line?
I hear tight end initially. Typically, I know in the past, Coach has typically asked kids who have 2 positions like that, one on offense, one on defense, what they prefer, and he gives them the option to try that first. I will say, looking at his film and his history and his current size, I'm salivating to see him on the defensive side, but we'll see what he can do on the offensive side first.
Yeah, I'm with Kelvin. I thought at first when I saw that as far as tight end, also you consider our tight end room is deep. I mean, unless he's just a world beater, you're already the number 3 tight end at best. Whereas the defensive line, he could come in tomorrow and be in the rotation. So I project, much like Kelvin, he's going to get a fair shake at tight end, but I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the orange and green game, he's playing defensive line.
All right, good stuff. Let's move over to one of the few offensive linemen that we will see a part of this class, Moselle Williams, 6'5", 340 from Hawthorne, Florida, transferred from Rutgers, 3-star. You can see a lot of great accolades there in that Gainesville, Central Florida area. What do we like about Moselle?
I think he played with our quarterback. I believe in high school, and I believe
it looks like it might be a sync there with their grades and everything. Yeah.
What I would say is Gainesville has right now a network of people, Rattlers, some coaches, some, and the players themselves, and they really are pushing hard to when kids are other places and they looking for somewhere else. They recruiting those kids hard, man, to come here. I think he's a great pickup. I remember seeing him, I believe, what state championship game that would have been. The last one they had in Tallahassee. I think they might have played like Trinity Christian out of Jacksonville, if I remember correctly. And another player that we have on our team was the quarterback for Jacksonville Trinity, and it was an awesome game. And I would tell you, both teams passed the eye test, so I'm really excited because I heard the name Coach. No, Coach mentioned it. Coach Colzie mentioned it about that quarterback, now our receiver, maybe being an impact this year.
Oh, yes. I read that. I didn't hear it, but I read that.
Yeah.
If you know,
I want to be able to see. I think he goes to tackle. Honestly, I'm looking at that 6'5", 340. That's an offensive tackle. I mean, he can probably slide over to the guard position, but if he can fill in as a tackle, I think that's pretty solid. Is he a upgrade from Jalen Goss? Is my question. Because if he is, man, you guys have fun.
So you project him at a tackle. This next young man to be interested. Now he's got similar height, but a little slimmer. He might project as maybe a guard. I don't know. Chigozie, or AKA Gozie OKK, excuse me if I'm saying that correctly. He's out of Tampa, Florida. He's a transfer from Iowa City Community College via West Florida, University of West Florida. Plenty of accolades coming out of Tampa. Been a part of a state champion when he was at Tampa. Been a part of a playoff caliber team at West Florida. I mean, been with winners, protecting winners, opening up holes for winners. I know this is a good signee right here.
You know, coach is looking for, one or two pieces on our offensive line because we lost, 2 starters. We got two all SWAC performers coming back. So this kid, with his experience, JUCO, all his winning, this is a kid you would project to come in and compete for a starter position. West Florida, yeah.
I think he actually played against FAMU when we played them the other season. So
yeah,
right.
Yes,
said there's some college film. Yes, there is. There definitely would be. Good stuff. All right. Let's move over to the next one here that committed back on the 12th of January. That's Jahan Myers. He is signed as well. He is from Luella, Georgia, transferred from Kennesaw State. I'm not even going to pretend to know where Luella, Georgia is. Anybody? I mean, I could do a quick Google search, but that's okay.
I was about to say, not without Google Maps.
Yeah, not without Google Maps. What's interesting to note here is the age on Jahan, because he is part of the
he's a
class
graduate
of 2020 grad student, right?
Yeah, he's a grad student. 1 year.
Yeah.
He's a 1 year.
1 year, yeah. He's
has film though. Has some stats.
Plenty of film.
Yeah.
He's the veteran guy coming in, right? Looking to try to win and finish his career out at HBCU, and South
Atlanta, over there by McDonough, not far from the racetrack.
Okay.
But I like the size. I think another guy that he can maybe be a tweener. Like, can he go on the edge, but also go on the inside as well?
Next up, a wide receiver. Kennardi Wilcher committed and signed as of January 14th. A Florida kid from Moorhaven, Florida, transfer from the University of Illinois wide receiver. Thoughts, gentlemen? Does he have a lot of film from his time at Illinois?
No, I think he might. I think he might have had a return though, a special teams return, but like a touchdown. Kid who was, he says Moorhaven, but his first 2 years he played at Tallahassee Childs. And
oh, okay.
He's an athlete. He's a speed guy too.
I was about to say, the second I saw Moorhaven, that's down there with them up.
Yeah.
I know some people down there. You fast. If you from down there, you got some speed. So looking for a guy that can maybe take the ball off, take the top off the ball, thinking about a little bit of Gassett type vibe, maybe a little bit taller than Gassett, but similar speed. If he can make those big kind of plays, again, replacing the players you lost last year.
Yep, he'll be a return guy more than like I project he'll be a return guy.
EA says the best signee period. Interesting, huh? Okay. That's interesting. And I'm assuming EA, you're talking about Kennardi. So, okay. Moving forward here. Now, this is as of, let's see, this is a commit / I've seen the signee. I've seen the photos.
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter. Maybe an hour before we went live, because we at the time that we were talking about this, Keith, right? We weren't sure whether this falls under just the committed but hadn't signed yet. No, we saw the pictures. He signed. DB Isaiah Murphy, we mentioned one of the 3 high school signees, a defensive back out of Orlando, Florida, went to Jones High School. They got a great program at Jones. Kids look good. He looks good in orange and green, period. So he's staying in orange and green. It's funny.
So he's actually the 4th high school signing.
Okay, because I was going to say, I know at least 2 are from Central Florida, Orlando. Right. We'll get to the other one here in a moment. So now we have 4. So we have 4 high school signings. Yeah. All right.
The great Jones High School. There's only one, so make sure put a little respect on that name. My first place of employment in Orange County, but yes, a great football program. Head coach is a former NFL player. Elijah Williams was actually supposed to be on one of FAMU's staff. He was on the staff for a couple months and then came back home to be down here. But Jones had a great program.
Yeah, he was on Earl Holmes' staff.
Yeah, probably the best program in the city, especially with Edgewater's coach leaving. So, but this guy's probably going to make some huge plays. So, look, they strong secondary. They got guys in the NFL all over the place. So, look for them to do some big things.
Yeah. Good stuff. And then also another very recent signee, David Gardner, offensive lineman, Big Dave, right out of Dr. Phillips High School, right in Orlando. He's another guy. We mentioned 4 high school signees. You've seen 2 of them right back to back. Dave Gardner, big guy, 6'5", 320. A great signee, man. He looks the part. Doesn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah, I just think you just got to get him acclimated to the college game and get him on a diet and get in the weight room. But yeah, if you can keep him for 4 or 5 years, he should turn into a monster tackle.
Future all SWAC.
Well coached kid.
Yep.
So I've had his coach on. His coach is my former coworker at Dr. Phillips, Coach Tyrone Sapp. Sapp has a coaching academy down here that every Saturday those kids are at the park getting it in. He is one of those athletes. He's also offensive line coach at Dr. Phillips. Sapp's a cook one night, actually. So if you saw the signing picture there, you had the proud coach moment celebrating with a student that's going to his rival school. Look for this kid to make an impact early. Sapp's students former athletes tend to translate well at the college level, especially if they have the size. 6'5", 320. I think he's going to be pretty good. As Kelvin said, if he can get the weight room thing down at the college level, this kid might only be at FAMU for 2 years.
Ooh. Okay. Moving forward, another very recent signee, Moses White, wide receiver, 6'4", 200 out of Tampa. Now, we said there were only 4, Kelvin. Are we sure this isn't the 5th high school?
No, that's the 4th. We just
so this
did.
is the 4th. Okay.
Yeah.
So we basically went through the 2 of them from Orlando, Moses White, and we mentioned one earlier in the program. Yeah. 6'4", 200. Good size.
Legacy Rattler.
Okay.
All his uncles and pops and grandpops, all those Whites coming out of Tampa, all Rattlers. So, he was born a Rattler, and they die hard. All of them. I think a lot of them have passed now. The things, but he's got Rattler blood through and through. Kid actually had some serious offers. I mean, it's a good thing he's raised by a bunch of Rattlers, because that's the main reason we got him.
Yeah.
Love the size though. 6'4", 6'5" receiver. Like, man, what's the last one we seen one of those? What was it, Manigo? Some of that crew right there where you had that. I mean, you got Ace there. You think he's like 6'2", 6'3". All of a sudden, FAMU's receiver room got a little bit taller.
Yes.
You're going a little bit away from that Willie Simmons style of having the shorter receivers that you got the ball kind of in transition or whatever you want to call it, or, got them those short routes and let them cook after, where you got some receivers with some size now that may be a problem within the conference.
All right. Interesting. Going through my updated sheet here. So that completes the signees that we have. Well, let me make sure I say this right. The signees who have put out committed information, because there's one name that's still not, we haven't seen the committed, but we are like 99% sure.
Check his Instagram, Brian. Check his Instagram.
Oh, has it? See, I didn't check Instagram.
Ain't no pictures in the Instagram, but when you check the bio, I'm just saying there's a little bit of.
We talk about this young man right here.
Yes, sir.
Is it
yes,
updated?
Sir.
Okay.
If you look in the Instagram bio, it says FAMU in the bio.
Well,
and based on what I'm looking at on my phone, it's confirmed.
Okay, so there it is, confirmed. So the 24th. I on my slides. Let me see. My slides started at 1. I don't know what number I'm at now. 24. This would be the 24th member of the class. If my numbers are right here, somebody, I don't know. We weren't really keeping a count, but I can tell you. Let me see. This is slide 26. And there's only been, let me see, 1, 2 fillers or two title graphic pages. So this would be the 24th member of the class. And yes, Kelvin said he's on campus. Ashley says he's on campus. Demetra said Coach Colzie said he's on campus. Welcome to the family. Roman Purcell, a transfer from my home state of Indiana. And been to a few programs, most recently at Indiana University, prior to that, North Carolina A&T. We kind of talked a little bit about him. I don't know. This is a grad student transfer, so looking to come in and compete. Mobile guy, can throw it, apparently. 6'1", 214. So, yeah,
very deep quarterback room at the University of Indiana. So Indiana University, excuse me, make sure I say it right because I don't want nobody trying me later.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you better
very
get this one
deep
right. You better
room.
get this right.
Hey, got to get that one right. Crimson and cream, next girl scream. But I'm looking to see what the competition is going to be like. Again, his third school, didn't see a lot of film on Indiana, but again, the room was kind of deep there as far as quarterback wise. So probably would have to go back to North Carolina A&T to see if he's got anything worth quality for him to make that jump from A&T to University of Indiana University of Bloomington. Sorry.
Right. And yes, all of the names that we have gone through have signed, turned in paperwork, to kind of quote Lil Baby. Yes, they've signed, turned in paperwork on campus, and already had lifts, with the exception of the 4 high school students.
Correct.
So
and we're kind of at our limit, Brian, in terms of offers at this point. I'm sure after the orange and green game, and depending on some guys doing what they need to in the classroom, injuries, that kind of thing, I'm sure there's, but we're right at about, typically a signing class is 25, and we 1 or 2 short maybe, so we right at that. So I wouldn't look for a whole lot. I wouldn't look for any other signings probably until after the spring.
What? Let me ask a couple other questions because there's a couple other names floating around. Let me ask about wide receiver Jordan Parker. That the young man who
Western Illinois.
Marcus pointed out from Western Michigan.
Western Michigan, yes.
Transfer. Yeah.
Yes.
So supposedly he's a yes, but when you look on the socials, there's nothing besides like "thank you FAMU." But according to the list that I have seen, he's a yes. It's supposed to be a pretty speedy receiver. Played at Western Michigan, was the second school at that level. So it's going to be interesting to see because he's another guy, kind of speedy. Maybe helps fill in that kick return role if he's got that kind of speed. So do we get him and Robert Lockhart back deep?
Yeah, I don't see size on him, but if I'm looking at him, I would be probably in the 5'10" to 5'9" range by looking at the picture. Ashley said he has FAMU in the bio. So
yeah, he's on the list. He's on the yes list.
He's on the yes list. Okay, so then that makes the 25th member of the class. See, I love how we're filling this. It's like filling the blanks here. Keeping you informed. That's what you get. Also, what about this young man? What have we heard about Jaden Bradford?
He's on the list.
Tallahassee guy on the list.
That cowboy with a K.
Yep.
He's on the list.
Yeah. Yes.
Cowboy with a K. All right.
Good program down in Osceola. If they can, normally with the kids from Osceola, the question is always similar to your Madison County type questions. Yeah. Can they get in? If they can get in and stay in, they normally turn out to be pretty good prospects.
Another name, Caleb McKenzie, the DB from out of Miami, South Dakota.
Yes. Nickel corner. Yes. I want him as a nickel. Reminds me a little bit of BJ Bowler. And I keep saying bowlers, in here, but, just saying height, size-wise, that nickel corner, and that's a position where, I think Colzie might have a little familiarity with. So it might be some fun to be able to see, hopefully project. I'm going to project that we'll probably see a little more man-to-man defense this year.
Okay. All righty. I got a couple of other additions here. This is from Marcus here. Now, some potential commits based on offers. You want to kind of see that for a second?
Go ahead.
All right. Some potential commits based on offers. Colin Charles from out of Northville, Michigan. He was offered back on February 2nd, and I thought this was kind of interesting based on the offer date, which was, this weekend. And he would be a class of 25, would be a high school recruit.
I'm showing 3 receivers, so I'm not sure if there's another slot for him at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless he's coming on as like a PWO, and also depending on what happens in the transfer portal. Is somebody about to enter the portal that we don't know about?
Right.
And that's just a question.
Right. Another offer that we haven't heard the commitment from, and whenever you see a big fella that is not afraid to kind of wear the jersey that way, that just reads nasty. That's that General Hunt kind of nasty. Just like, I will maul you in a phone booth if we end up near each other. And you can see he's right out of Lake City, Florida. We offered back in January 27th. Not really sure what the status is to date, but offensive lineman would be a good one if he commits.
Yeah, we've only brought in 2 with the recruiting class. Not that I think Coach said he was looking at maybe 4 to 5 guys between now and in the summer. So right now we only have 2 offensive linemen.
Another used to be a powerhouse program, so it's kind of not as good as it used to be, but it's still a solid program over at Lake City, Columbia. So if they can reel them in that kind of size, those kids have normally got a chip on their shoulder, very similar to General Hunt, and that's that region. I mean, Lake City to Gainesville, literally right there.
Gainesville, Hawthorne, Lake Butler. He's part of that group.
Yeah, you gonna get some good ballers out there.
One more one more offer that we haven't heard from yet. And this was another recent offer back on February 1st. Carlos Teclu. He is from Zephyr Hills, Florida. Looks like also played some ball in Canada as well. But I'm looking at, he's probably class of 2024. So just mentioning him. Nothing really to grind your teeth on or nothing, but we'll see how that works out.
Looks like Troy Polamalu from here.
One of the names that I know we had, I know originally a young man who had committed back in January, but appears to be on the decommit list, is Cormery Butts, the linebacker, a transfer from the JUCO, Navarro, JC.
Is that kid that ain't the Butts who tried to come here? Is he from Central Florida, Orlando area somewhere?
Miami. This is from Booker T. Washington. The different Butts
okay.
Kid.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Wish we could have got him back in the day.
Yeah.
That was a few years ago. But no, this one, originally we had him on our commit list. And a matter of fact, I was looking at the bio earlier today. He was on the commit list, but as Marcus has updated this prior to our show, had him on the decommit list. Also another decommit, Mekhi Maddox, who originally had committed from Lincoln. I believe, is that the young man who flipped and went to Alabama A&M?
Yeah, he followed the coach that recruited him.
Okay, well, that happens.
Yeah,
that happens.
Yes.
That happens. Okay, a couple of questions here for you guys. EA, should we have an orange and green game to expose good talent to the Vultures? I didn't know this was a thing. I'm starting to hear this a lot about people having questions about whether they should have orange or spring games. I mean, that's becoming a question mark now.
No, I hadn't heard that. So
no, I thought I'd heard this same comment about spring games somewhere else.
I hadn't heard it. But what I would tell you, we got 7 offensive starters returning. We got 8 defensive starters returning. So 15 out of our 22 coming back. We got 94 kids, I think Coach said, in camp. And there's competition. We got new staff, which is going to bring in some slight new schemes. We got potentially a new defense coordinator. So absolutely, we got to have a spring game, and frankly, we got to know what we have. What we got players on paper. We got to know what we have in game situation, right, in front of a group of folks, and it don't matter if people see it or not. If you're good at what you do, you can't stop it anyway. So, but yeah, it's about us. Spring game is about us and our team and our coaches, not anybody else.
Yeah, and on top of that, you're the only game in town. I mean, Florida State's not having a spring game because Doak ain't gonna be ready. I don't know why they don't just move it to Cox Stadium or ask to use Bragg, but that's their business, that's their problem. But I think that's something where in that you're the only game in town during the summer. You're doing a softball game. Go ahead and try to make it invite the whole city to come out. Make it a thing. So I think you do need to have a spring game though, so you can see what you have, but also it lets those players kind of see what you don't have. And for those guys who might not make the cut, maybe you make those phone calls to some of those other schools and say, hey, I got a guy. He's not going to make the cut here, but, good dude, XYZ. Maybe you can find a home for some of those guys that might not make it in the fall.
Slot 25 brings up, okay, he may have seen, the same article I did where the Nebraska, who's the Nebraska coach? Wasn't that the former
Matt Rule?
Yeah, Rule, where he was talking about now those people are rabid in Nebraska, so I don't know how this is going to float. But anyway,
they got poached because the coach left and went to Florida State and took all them players with him. And Florida State's team was trash last year. And I say that as a person who's a FAMU graduate and former FSU employee and a FAMU and FSU fan. Florida State sucked last year. And I stand on that. It was trash.
Yeah, but the defense coordinator just coming this year.
And he brought a whole lot of guys with him.
Yeah.
I think he brought like 4 or 5 transfers from Nebraska with him.
Be careful about poaching other people's talent. That's all I can say. Another question. Sweet asked about so many DBs. I don't think that's unusual given, we've had on roster next to offensive linemen, the defensive back position has been our deepest position where, we've seen a couple years where we had like 15 DBs, 15 O linemen. So, I don't know. That's just kind of how you build teams, right?
Yeah, and we've got Bowler and D. Cole not returning, and I believe we had 1 or 2 other guys who were rotational and special teams that also graduated. I think we had 1 to jump in the transfer portal, if I remember correctly. So we just kind of replacing with the numbers that we lost essentially.
Mm-hmm. And you got to think about how many you have on the field, especially in modern day football. There's some places you have 5, maybe 7 DBs on the field. So you really almost have to double up just in case for injuries and attrition and whatnot. So if you have less than 10 DBs, you're really running the risk of somebody, 2-3 guys getting hurt, and you're stuck.
Mm-hmm. And our defense traditionally plays with 5 DBs, so even though 1 is a hybrid.
All right. Well, that's all of the questions that have come through, and that's sort of a look at the recruiting class. I know, Kelvin, you said you wanted to get in a comment here regarding the, kind of before we pivot off of recruiting and football. I know you said you had something you wanted to add. in there.
Well, I think I got it in. I talked about how many returning stars we got, and then the high number of players we have in camp already. So we have enough to actually. Last year we couldn't run. We didn't have a regular scrimmage because we didn't have the numbers, particularly up front at the defensive line, and specifically. So we had this hybrid type of spring game. And Coach already said that it's going to be more traditional spring game right now. So, and we have the numbers to do that. So,
any other takeaways regarding the roster? I am excited about that former QB now turned wide receiver, and let's see if it sticks this time. He had a great spring last year. Let's hope good health and everything else works out.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. We need to make sure everybody does what they need to do on and off the field. Yes. Because that would be a weapon that would be unleashed.
Especially in that receiver group.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I played receiver when I was in high schools, and that was my position. The receiver group is this is the most excited I've been about a FAMU receiver group in a while. Probably since we had Xavier Smith, and that year where it was like Xavier Smith and Manigo, and it's like, oh crap, Manigo, they might get together, and it was more Xavier than anything else. Like, I'm really excited about this because you lost Gassett, but at the same point, my boy Ace came on. Quan Lee came on.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, you got 1-2 already. You get a third receiver in there, which could be Lockhart, could be somebody else, plus some of these transfers in there. Fam, you could literally throw 5 receivers at you, and you could literally just be like, well, I don't know what I can do. Plus the tight ends, if we actually use them the way we're supposed to, heavens forbid we throw the ball to the tight ends on a consistent basis. This offense could get unleashed, and the way this defense is being built the right way. Colzie going into year 2, he's seen what didn't go right. He sees what works at FAMU, really what works in SWAC. And so he's building this defensive line back up so that defense can kind of flow in coverage a little bit more. I'm excited. But my favorite group already is receiver group.
Man, Keith, you sounded like you drinking the Kool-Aid. You ready? You predicting. Don't let me catch you out here on these internet streets predicting 30 plus points a game, Keith. Don't let me get you out there. Come on now. Stop it.
Burr's got to show me 2 more games. I saw that first game was very run heavy, and then you saw the stats that kind of balanced out a little bit more. So, we're going to see how much of which coach wants is going to come into play.
Here's a cute question by Tony. Anyone checked on the grass on the practice field? How's it looking these days? No?
I ain't been out there.
No hands.
It's being treated, but they're not using it right now. It's because it's
parking lot. Parking lot. Well, every time I go up there, it's a parking lot. Just saying.
I'm wondering, with this new administration, will we see some of those things get corrected? It's very different. It's a good and a bad having FAMUans in places of power. And one of the good things is that Rattler pride kicks in sometimes. And, that Rattler pride, I feel like you have an athletic director where that Rattler pride is going to do a little something to make some things shake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Look at the time, fellas. Look, I know we got to go. We haven't talked much basketball, so I just will make a quick mention of the fact that both of our teams split over the weekend. They won their first game, the women winning by almost 40 over Alabama State on Thursday. And then on Saturday, my God, that game against Alabama A&M was frustrating as heck to watch. Yes, exactly. If I'd have been drinking while watching it, I'd have been drunk and passed out by halftime. A game that we were tied, we were close. Then we were down by double digits. I think in the chat, I left. I can't watch any more of this. I had to go leave, and we were down by 12, 13 at the end of the third quarter. And all of a sudden, it's like a tie ball game by the time I actually get down the road to where I was going. And we end up coming up short, losing by 4. Not impressed by Alabama A&M. I have not been. I keep saying it. I know people love Alabama A&M's coach. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. Just not. I'm not there. We could have won that game. Foul trouble, yes. Foul trouble killed us.
Well, you and the cameraman love the coach.
That's it. Me and the cameraman. That's it.
Well, I'm just gonna say I'm still concerned about this team ability to win on the road, which we're getting ready to go on the road.
Ooh.
And one of the teams we play on the road is the best team in the conference on the women's side.
Yes.
And we're really close, right? The women team is really close, but it's the same 2 or 3 things that we talk about. We foul too much and get in foul trouble. Somebody's fouling out every game, right? And then we have those scoring droughts. We have a 20-point quarter, but we're gonna have a 9-point quarter. It just every game.
Yeah.
Every game.
And the turnovers, man.
And then we haven't found our closer. At the end of the day, we haven't found a closer yet, right? So, and that don't bode well on the road. We've got to try to steal one on the road this week. If we want to move from the middle of the pack and have a chance to be at top 6.
For me, it's the wish that we had the unicorn somewhere coming off the bench as the 6th girl.
Yeah, I wish. I really think if we had those last 2 ladies, it's looking like I don't know if they heard or if they've just been shut down for the season or whatever. But but those 2, Delancey and Purifoy, if we could add them to what we have, that'll push us, I believe, over the hump with.
Mm-hmm. I think that'd be an additional 3 wins easy.
I think after this weekend, and again, there's no published injury report in college athletics, unfortunately, so we don't know their status. But I'm going to treat them like he who should not be named last year when y'all were like, waiting, why is it so and so playing? Don't say his name. Look, if we don't see these 2 young ladies this weekend, let's just all make a pledge that we not, because we've said the same thing for the last 3 weeks. Oh, if we get so-and-so back, look, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the level of the injury or whatever is going on, but let's just kind of make a vow, all 3 of us right here, that after this weekend in Texas, starting with Prairie View A&M, should be a winnable game. Prairie View A&M is, let me see, they're 4th from the bottom? No, 3rd from the bottom in the conference. We're sitting 6th. We should win the Prairie View game on Thursday night.
We on the road. We on the road. We have not won a road game yet. So
I ain't talking about no unicorns. Y'all can talk about the unicorn if you want to.
Yeah, I'm not talking about it. Voice of reason here. And then, of course, Saturday, unbeaten Texas Southern, 9-0 through the first half of the season. I don't think that's the surprise of the year. No one saw them going 9-0.
Right.
So anyway.
Do we unleash O'Neal? Like, he gets to go against his old team, and look, that dude's been getting his 20 points on the last couple of games. I'm just saying.
Oh, you talking about on the men's side?
Yeah, on the men's side.
Yeah. Oh, right.
On the girls' side, now I'm giving that up. Ain't no point in talking about a beatdown.
Well, you know us. We'll stay competitive. It'll be close for a quarter, and then it won't be. That's the thing. We will fight. We'll be in the game. The question is, anyway, let's move. Let's just, like Kelvin said, let's get a split. The first one's the most important one. Get the win tomorrow night. It's Prairie View. It'll most likely be on streaming on Prairie View's broadcast, or usually on YouTube. So that will be accessible, so we can all watch that game. And Texas Southern's games usually are on YouTube as well. We'll see. For the men, they start with the doubleheader, taking on Texas Southern. Let's see, what are the standings? I know the women are in 6th place right now. The men's standings, I'm pulling it up real quick.
They were in fourth, but I haven't checked.
Tied for fourth or fifth.
Tied for fourth or fifth. All right. So we had the 5-game winning streak. That came to an end, losing by 1 point. Had the ball with the final. Break us through that possession, Kelvin, because we're down 1 with 13 seconds left to play. Break it down. What happened?
Well, let me just say, I don't think we scored the last minute and 48 seconds. Luckily, neither did
Alabama State.
Alabama State either. We had one guy that just went ham on us, the guard, who went for what, 33, was it? 32 or 33 points. And the guys did a good job of getting back into the game in the fourth quarter. And, because we so 3-point oriented, we made like 13 3-pointers. But we missed 20, but we missed 21.
Uh-huh.
So
you make some, you miss some, Kelvin. So make them miss league, right?
Well, if you're gonna shoot that many threes, you're gonna miss more than you make. That first of all. But I don't have any problem with the threes, But because of you rely on it so heavy, if it's not falling, it's gonna keep teams in game. Like for instance, when we came back against Alcorn, we were over 13-14, and we were completely out the game. But then we got hot, and 20-point lead disappeared. So you just got to get used to that. But the game against Alabama State came down, in my opinion. I don't know why coach didn't call a timeout. We had 2 of them left. Just go ahead. You down 1 point. We didn't need a 3. He decided, let the kids bring it up. I think it was 9 point something seconds left, maybe. And he let them come up, and we kind of started scrambling, and we didn't get a shot off before the buzzer. I would have liked for him to call a timeout and set up a play.
I didn't like at the end of the game. I didn't like some of those threes. So some of those transition threes where it was like, man, if you really just drive to the cup and try to get the 2 points, especially it's a 1-point game. Like some of those shots we're shooting from 3, and you're like, why are you creating a long rebound? Like take it to the cup, see if you can get a foul. Like I know that the analytics say that 3-point is a thing, but it looked like we had a man advantage. It was might have had a chance to get to the bucket. Like it's a close game. It's a 1-point game. Why are we shooting for 3? In that moment, I understand other times though.
I'm starting to believe if you will shoot it at the 14-minute mark, you'll shoot it at the 10-second mark or the 2-minute mark, because it's the same shot. Now I know some people will say, "Oh, time and score." I get it, but you are what you are.
For me, it's who's shooting it too, right? So Young, he can make the ridiculous hard shots. When he's hot, and Matthews. So if you're gonna give, they got a pretty much a green light. They ain't got to worry about it. So if that's the case, then they need to have the ball and coming out of a down the stretch. They are closers, right? So you make sure you don't pass it to nobody else. You let them miss. You live with them missing or making. Yeah.
Yeah. Slot, get off. Hey, oh man, get off my lawn. Stop it.
But our big comeback was when we were shooting and making the balls at the cup, though. You started to kind of look that big comeback. We were shooting in the paint, right at the rim.
Yeah.
Shooting in the key.
Yep.
Like
the tough part about that loss, again, it put us in a tie for the 6th spot. We're tied right there with Alcorn and Alabama State, who, let's see. So by virtue of the loss to Alabama State and the win over Alcorn, we're sitting technically in 6th. Had we won that game, we'd actually be in 4th because we'd be sitting above Jackson State. So that's what this league is coming down to right now. I mean, Texas Southern, who we play this weekend on Saturday, there's a 2-game gap between us, and they're in second place. Them and Bethune are in second place. Prairie View is sitting in the 10 spot. So we got a chance. We going to Texas Southern. It's going to be hard, but Shakir O'Neal gets a chance to go home. Who knows? Dad might be in the building. Who knows? Might be on the sideline. I expect a big night from Shakir. I'm calling 20. I'm making a bold prediction Saturday. I don't do bold predictions during the basketball season, but I'm calling Shakir going to drop at least 20 on Saturday, going back home.
If the opposing teams, I will say this for the men's side, if the opposing teams don't have guards who are consistently good scorers, like Alabama A&M got an old school basketball team. They're big, they're tall, they're long, they're athletic, they can jump, but can't shoot. They were terrible from the 3-point line, and they were terrible from the free throw line. And we beat them by double digits, but it was mainly because they shot so poorly from the free throw line. And so with our team, if you don't have very good guards who can score, we're going to get hard at some point, and that'll create that distance. But again, because we shoot so many threes, and yeah, that with the turnovers, we'll keep you in the game too.
Yeah. Again, the games against Prairie View, you will be able to watch them on PVAMU Athletics or PV Panther Athletics on YouTube. The Texas Southern doubleheader on Saturday, you'll be able to watch on Texas Southern Athletics. Texas Southern Athletics 5654. That's the YouTube handle. Just type in Texas Southern Athletics and you'll see it. Those games will be broadcast on YouTube, so we'll get a chance to watch those. And of course, the men will finish up the weekend Texas trip by themselves on Monday against Prairie View. So there goes that. Special shout out to Sterling Young. Sterling Young recognized the other day as the SWAC's
newcomer and co-player, right?
Co-player and newcomer.
Mm-hmm.
He is the leading scorer in the conference right now. He scored 20 in back-to-back games, had a team high 21 points and 3 rebounds and 3 assists in the loss to Alabama State. Had 23 points in the 95-79 win against Alabama A&M. Had a total of 9 3-pointers in total.
Needed everyone.
Exactly.
When he shoots in rhythm, man, he's got a stroke. Him and Matthews.
Pretty. Yeah, it's pretty.
It's pretty. When he go one-on-one and jack him up, that's typically when his percentages go way down, along with his turnovers going up. But he's capable of making those shots, right? He made one shot. He made one shot, man. He one-on-one, and he must have been about 5 feet away from the 3-point line and shot her. And the guy played good defense, got his hands up and everything. He hit none but nets. So he's a tough shot maker now.
No doubt. Lastly, I think I can say a quick shout out to track and field. We had some track athletes set records at the Gamecock Challenge at South Carolina. The 4x400 men's relay team posted a season best 3 minutes, 11 seconds, 0.18, which was the 33rd fastest time in the nation. Then you had Nia Blocker in the women's 200 meter. She had a season best 23.55, which is the 35th best time. And then, not to be forgotten, Kirk Dawkins, who, if I'm not mistaken, also was the SWAC track athlete of the week. He etched his name in FAMU's record book, according to Athletic Net, which has records dating back as far as 2003. He had a time of 2 minutes, 27 seconds, .07 in the 1,000 meter, which this is the 7th school record this season that's been broken.
Track's
so
killing
that's
it,
pretty.
Man.
Yeah, Track's killing it, man. That's
makes you ask questions that, like, honestly, you start looking at what he's doing at FAMU and what he's resurrected the program to. Like, just looking at both the track program and the basketball programs, you start thinking, like, we're kind of complaining about the team being in 6th place. The team ain't sniffed 6th place in how long? And then with FAMU Track, it's a viable program to where we're asking, like, yo, what's up with these FAMU relays? I thought they were coming. Like, you're starting to see FAMU track athletes start to get back in the habit of being in the national, eye and garner national prominence and attention. It's a good thing, but it's also going to garner that question of, one, can you keep the athletes, but two, can you keep the coach?
Yep. On the women's side, SWAC, I think it was SWAC Newcomer of the Week was Kira Copeland. She won the 400-meter women's race with a time of 56.49. Which was, she's out of 25 athletes, won, if I'm reading this right. Or either it was the 25th fastest time. I don't really know. Not really sure what I'm reading here. I know it says first. 1 out of 25. Any of you guys? Anyway, she was SWAC athlete of the week. So.
It's saying that it's 11:17. It's time for you to wrap it up.
All right. Well, there it is. So with that said, I got to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you again to Coach Beall. Coach Brittany Beall, softball team starting off the season this weekend in Macon, Georgia. Also, thanks to Kelvin Dean, Zachary Ensley for coming on the show. Hopefully you guys will find a way to support Kelvin and Jalen over at Trench Academy. So thetrenchacademy.net. Of course, if you go back through the chat, we'll send out a tweet in the morning with how you can support Kelvin and Jalen. So, all right, Keith, final words. Let people know when you're going to be on next, so that way they can make sure to tune in.
Yes, sir. Look, we'll be here Thursday, 8 o'clock, followed by the Fang Exchange. Kelvin Dean wore the Fang Exchange hat. So we're going to be doing that again, talk about recruiting, but also kind of watch the basketball game, like seeing what's going, like getting a little bit of that live impromptu, like what's going on there, and just really looking at what's going on the highest 7 hills.
Good stuff. Kelvin, any final words?
Just that, the spring sports are going on. I know tennis has got a match this weekend. They're on the road. I believe they're at Stetson. And also make sure that the people in the Mercer area, I know Marcus has already said he got it. But the central Georgia area, make sure you go support the team. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they look like. And baseball will get started next week.
Yes, indeed.
Did we get the full baseball schedule out yet?
Yes, it's out. It's on the website. Valentine's Day at home.
Home opener.
Yep.
I heard they got a game here in Orlando against UCF. So
yes. We'll have to make sure to hit that up, Keith. We'll have to make sure to have to come join the Central Florida Rattlers for that one. Yeah. So, all right. Well, again, make sure you hit the thumbs up and the like button. If you're just watching us, go back and watch the show on YouTube or Facebook. You can always find the show on our podcast network, the BCSN Pod Zone. All of the shows that are part of the Black College Sports Network appear there on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast. Just search BCSN Pod Zone. And when you download the podcast, make sure to subscribe. rate, review, share it, all that good stuff. Again, make sure to check Keith Fangs Up. You got a thumbs up. Fangs Up podcast. Make sure to check him out. Thanks to Marcus Green for putting together the great presentation. Hopefully Marcus will be joining us next week. We'll see. I mean, 3 weeks now, Marcus has been on assignment. Boy, I tell you what, we're not taking any auditions, Marcus. So don't feel like we're not giving up your spot yet. But leave it up to Kelvin. Anyway, just kidding. All love, Marcus. All love. We appreciate all your work. I'll say thanks. Make sure you're following all of us on socials and all that good stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us. For Kelvin and Keith, I'm Brian. This has been the O&G Strike Zone. Peace out. Fangs up.